Welcome to DAX Machina, with your hosts, Naoma Finn, Steve Wildman Munrodis, and D.A. Roberts. Join us as we explore writing, books, authors, and all things horror. We will delve into the sightings, reports, encounters, and tales of monsters. We will also explore the writings of D.A. Roberts along with others in the horror genre. We will investigate the possibilities that monsters may not be safely locked away in the pages of books. They might just walk among us even now. Grab some popcorn and lock the doors. It's going to be a creepy journey. Welcome to DAX Machina.
Good evening, folks, and thank you for joining us on another episode of DAX Machina. Joining me tonight are my brothers in arms, my brothers from other mothers, Steve Wildman Munrodis and Carrie Pocket Doc Davis. Carrie is upright and vertical, feeling better now. He seems to be feeling better, but he ain't no prettier.
Nope, definitely didn't
Doc,
make
how
me
the
any
hell are
prettier. Wyatt, I am rolling.
I missed that. I definitely missed that.
I have too, brother.
You guys doing all right?
Yeah, trying to hang in there.
Steve, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing okay. You know, I complain, but nobody listens anyway. It's all good.
I know that feeling.
But, you know, I'm upright and sober. Not sure which one pisses me off more.
Well, the night is young.
Amen. Thank y'all for all the well wishes. I appreciate it. I see those messages coming through. Appreciate it.
Well, we can't have the doc sick. I mean,
That's right.
Man,
when Doc's down, we're all in trouble.
Man,
you go call for a medic and you hear crickets.
it was no fun, my friends. It was no fun.
That sucks. I mean, you got a double whammy.
I did. Yeah.
You're still looking a little peaked, though.
Yeah. Like I said, man, I wouldn't wish this died on anybody. I lost 12 pounds. I really couldn't afford. But you know, got to tighten my britches up to hold them up over my ass. So
tighten that Jethro rope.
Ain't that the truth?
Hey, you know, I had to take a weight for you. When I had that stomach flu over New Year's, I lost 14 pounds, and it didn't look like I lost a damn thing.
Mercy.
Yeah, what's this when the love handles shrink a little?
Exactly.
I was going to say I went from having the little, what do you call it, little bacon in the back to, you know, just the love handles.
Oh yeah.
Well, it looks like everybody missed you, Doc.
Good to be missed. Good to be missed. It's better to be back though than to be missed. That's for sure.
That's a fact. I would much rather be upright and vertical. I ain't gonna get no prettier, but I hate being sick.
Man, I felt like I look. That's the way I feel. That's the way I look about it right now. Lord have mercy. I felt like I've been ate by a wolf and shit over a cliff.
Doc, your euphemisms just crack me up.
Man. Or as my daddy used to say, I felt like I've been shot at and missed and shit at and hit.
Oh, that's awesome. You should write a book of just crazy sayings. I think it'd be a bestseller.
Yeah, I have folks in class writing them down. I was like, y'all paying attention to any of the medical stuff I'm giving you? I don't know, man. We're writing down the sayings. Keep us entertained.
Okay, well, just do a podcast on another night of the week. Could be funny shit that Carrie says.
Funny shit Doc says. There we go. Well, speaking of books, before we jump into the topic for tonight, I thought I would give everybody a quick glance. Those of you who didn't know, Lakeview Man 3, Lakeview Man Beast of Blunk Road is now in edits. It's actually in final edits, so that should be coming along very, very soon. And we have a cover. So if everybody'd like to get a glimpse at the new cover, here it is. This is the new cover of Beast of Blunk Road, Lakeview Man Beast of Blunk Road. And the background picture where it looks like the trees are going through a tunnel, that's actually Blunk Road. Adam, the guy that did my cover, went down there and took a bunch of pictures, and that's the one he chose. And then he kind of used a filter effect to make it look like it was drawn, but that's actually a photo of Blanc Road.
Man, that looks good, dude. I like that.
I'm pretty happy with it. It looks awesome.
Okay.
Adam did a fantastic job.
Gotcha.
So look for release of that book coming up very, very soon.
So your big bet in this one is the Ozarks Howler, right?
Ozarks Howler.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. I'm looking forward to that.
I'll throw that back up and read the back cover. Along the shores of Table Rock Lake, a strange beast is stalking the residents of rural Sloan County. A series of gruesome attacks brings Sheriff Amanda Sanchez Clark face to face with a legendary monster from out of Ozarks folklore. A creature has claimed hunting territory among the homes that line the lake shores, bringing it into conflict with the deputies of the Sloan County Sheriff's Office. Soon they discover this beast is far more dangerous than anything they've ever faced before. Lives will be changed forever as they try to stop the deadly Ozarks Howler.
I love it.
I like it.
I'm pretty happy with that. I love the cover. I'm very stoked with the way the book has turned out. And it's look for watch the Discord, watch my author page on Facebook, and the Patreon page for release information, because it's going to be coming very, very soon. Probably
awesome.
Release information will probably be in the next couple of days. So pretty happy about that. But that they were as was usual, we're diverging from the topic, but at least we sidetracked early. Topic for tonight is the Bermuda Triangle. Things that have been lost in the Bermuda Triangle, and there have been a lot over the years.
I would disagree that we went off topic. Anything about your books is on topic on this podcast, sir.
Good point. Thank you. Appreciate that.
But sorry to interrupt you.
You're fine.
I want to get to the Bermuda Triangle too. I think it's pretty cool.
Well, no mention of the Bermuda Triangle would ever be complete without mentioning my favorite. My favorite story is the one that's always kind of freaked me out about the Bermuda Triangle, and it's possibly the most famous one, but it's still the one that intrigues me the most. It's the story of the Mary Celeste.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know about that one?
Yes,
I do.
It just freaks me out because on December 4th, 1872, the crew and ship was found stranded at sea. I'm sorry. The ship was found abandoned at sea on a journey from New York to Genoa, Italy. 7 crew members and Captain Benjamin Boggs, his wife, and their 2-year-old daughter were aboard the ship. The ship was loaded with raw alcohol, which is used in machine parts and things like that. Days after, a passing ship called the De Gratia found the Mary Celeste partially under sail off the Azores. And when they went aboard, they found the ship was completely empty, and the lifeboat was missing. They found 9 barrels of the cargo were empty, which is weird that they would want Machina alcohol. And there was a sword on the deck, and there were traces of blood on the sword. They theorized that there was a pirate attack, which the pirates would have taken the cargo, or there would have been more signs of people killed on the ship. It's just really weird that they found this boat under full sail, under its own power, off the Azores in the Atlantic, just sailing along without a soul on board. The only thing missing was a couple of barrels of alcohol, which were empty. The barrels were still there, and the lifeboat. And to this day, they've never figured out what happened to it.
Yeah. And from everything I read, that ship was still in excellent condition too. Whenever they
still
found
had
it,
plenty of provisions, and
yeah,
the boat was not taking on water. They checked the bilges. The bilges were still pretty much empty. The ship, it wasn't taking on water. It didn't look like it'd been hit by a storm. For whatever reason, the entire crew either abandoned ship or were taken off the ship.
Now, did they ever check the captain's log? That's always one of my first things on any of these nautical things.
They did, but there was no mention of why they left the ship. It was just normal daily traffic, and then the last log just ended abruptly, and everybody was gone.
I know there was a theory at one point, and this has been years ago, that the crew had tried drinking the alcohol. And because of what it was, it basically messed them up, and they dove overboard or did something stupid.
It's wood grain alcohol. I mean, I think the worst it would have done is made them go blind.
Yeah.
Well,
Man. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
And it's not like it was a little ship. I mean, this was the same design. This isn't a picture of the actual Mary Celeste, but a picture of the same design of ship. It's a twin-masted bark. She was completely provisioned. It's just like they decided one day to everybody jump in the lifeboat and head out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is that's insane.
It was under such weird circumstances that when the Dei Gratia brought it into port in Italy, there was an inquest done where they actually put the captain of the Dei Gratia on trial, thinking he killed everybody on board because it was such weird circumstances, and they found no evidence that he'd done it. The ship was eventually salvaged and sold and renamed and went back to sea. And as far as I know, there were no other weird things that came after it, but. They actually put the captain of the Dei Gratia on trial because they suspected them of murdering everybody on board.
Wow. Yeah, and it's ironic enough. I was watching a TV show this evening, and it was ironic that we were talking about the Bermuda Triangle because it was talking about all the vortices, the I can't remember the name. It's like whirlpools.
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge concentration of them in the Bermuda Triangle area, where the Gulf Stream goes up and around, but there's a lot of those there, and there's been speculation about that, and a lot of EM interference, things like that, messing with guidance systems or compasses, anything like that.
One of the first recorded incidences of weird things happening in the Bermuda Triangle was actually reported by Christopher Columbus.
Yep. Yeah,
which really kind of freaks me out. In 1492, October 11th, Christopher Columbus and the crew of the Santa Maria reported seeing unknown lights one day before landing at Guanahani.
Yeah. So it looked like a candle, big flaming candle out in the distance or something like that.
And it just got weirder from there. And I've seen like a couple of documentaries where they claimed that it was like methane deposits on the bottom of the ocean that would release and it would break the surface tension. The ships would suddenly sink. But that doesn't explain why planes disappear too, because there's been a lot of those.
Lots.
Yeah.
Because if it was methane, because some of these pilots would like radio in, I'm lost. I can't find my way. I'm in a cloud bank. I don't know where I'm at. If it'd been methane, if a cloud of methane engulfed an aircraft with the heat from the engines and the exhaust, there would have been explosions they would see in the Azores.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, it's like the Flight 19 squadron. They were saying their compasses were spinning. And
that wasn't just one plane, that was an entire flight,
and then the rescue flight that went out to find them also disappeared.
So they lost a PBY.
It's like a total of like 27 crewmen from all the planes that were gone. So
now, how do you lose a PBY, a plane that's designed to be able to land on the water?
I don't know. What kills me is that none of that's ever been found.
No,
they did find that flight of the Corsairs. Were they Corsairs? Were they Corsairs?
No, they were Avengers. They found the wreckage of several of those Avengers. So they did go down in the water, but they still to this day have no explanation on why. Yeah, and because they were talking about how they were running low on fuel because they never could find land, and they were preparing to ditch. And that's they couldn't even get any land-based sonar to locate them. That was in that area at the time, and that's when that PBY went out there, and they didn't see hide nor hair of them, and then they disappeared too. Lost radio contact with them. So interesting stuff.
Yeah. Well, other ships have disappeared without a trace. No distress call. Nothing, and no sign of them was ever found. In fact, I think I want to say it was in the late 60s or early 70s when a boat, a pleasure craft that had been was oddly enough named Witchcraft. They were at sea and called into the Coast Guard. They were only going off the shore of Miami like a mile to watch the Christmas lights. That's all they were doing. to go just a mile off of the shore. And then they called the Coast Guard and reported that they'd struck something, but they didn't think they were going to be sinking, but they requested aid. So within 20 minutes, the Coast Guard arrived on scene to tow them back to port, and there was no trace of them. Yeah. They launched a massive air search like 1,000 nautical miles in every direction, and never found a single sign of the witchcraft, and it's never been found.
Yeah, and that was like a 20-something foot boat. And then to make things weirder, back in, I think, 1918, the USS Cyclops was over a 500-foot boat with over 300 souls on board, and disappeared without a trace. I mean, that's a pretty big boat, man. You know, and it's gone. Yeah,
I mean, we had one of the comments. Werewolf 5674 says the Avengers went out and back over Florida. AJ Congdon said, I don't think they have proven they were from Flight 19, DA. Yeah, maybe they haven't, but they did find Avengers roughly in that area. It might not be them. And of course, then you've got the report. There was a pilot that left I believe it was the Bahamas, in 1972, and radioed in that he saw like a tunnel in the sky. And he wound up flying into it, and he arrived over Miami with still most of a tank of fuel and like 2 hours ahead of schedule. He had just left. I believe it was Bimini. He had just left, and no explanation on how he got to Miami so fast and why he still had so much fuel.
Yeah, maybe he wormholed in, man. You know, who knows? Interdimensional portal. I mean, like one of the guys said in here, there's or like Miss Parsons, Susan Parsons said, there's so many theories regarding the Bermuda Triangle, and there are, but there's definitely if you reports of electromagnetic interference over that area that messes with guidance systems. So.
Lucas Williams asked, "Water Avengers?" I'll show you. The Avengers were fighter planes in World War II.
Yeah, they're a torpedo bomber, weren't they?
Yeah,
I think that's what Bush 41 flew, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he flew an Avenger.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's that particular flight, but this is a flight of Avengers taken, sometime after World War II. But they were prop powered bombers, fighter bombers, torpedo planes.
Yep. Crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
It is weird stuff coming out of the Bermuda Triangle. And one of the things that I find really interesting, and I know it might eventually be disproven to be anything of significance, but I've only read about it. I've never been there. Is the Bimini Road, and that's right there in the area. Divers discovered it in fairly shallow water, and it leads off the coast of the island. And it looks like a paved road, and it just goes out to where the water drops off down to the darkness, and they can't follow it.
Huh. Yeah, there was at one point that there was a theory that the Bimini Road might have been like the bulwarks or some kind of a wall for Atlantis or one of these other cities that exist in folklore and a little bit of history.
Northwoods backs you up, says you're right. George Bush flew one of those.
I thought so. Yeah, I've heard the Atlantis theory too, Steve, which is another one.
Yeah, the Bimini Road is really. I mean, divers have been diving the Bimini Road for decades, but there's really never, to my knowledge, there's never been a 100% verifiable story as to what it was. Because for all intents and purposes, it looks like a flagstone paved road that just leads off from the island out into deep water.
Huh.
Tina Satomi says they found a squadron of planes they thought at first was Flight 19 abandoned in Arizona. It turned out to be not them, but strange in and of itself. Yeah, it's weird that the military wouldn't have a record of a flight of planes found in Arizona. I thought the military took better notes of aircraft they'd lost.
You'd think. Knowing our luck, that Bimini Road is probably like the road that leads up to the entrance of like Rylea or one of these places. We're going to have Cthulhu coming out of there.
It's like it leads down to a building with 30-foot doors. Like, I don't think I'm going to knock on this one. Avon calling.
Those big
Portals in the Sky makes a good song. Now where have I heard that? Wasn't that Wheel in the Sky by Journey?
There you go. Doesn't sound near as intimidating when Steve Perry sings it.
True. Well, Sal Paso says Ghost Riders in the Sky, but that was cattle and horses. That's a little different. But yeah, it doesn't sound very intimidating when you got Steve Perry singing it. Oh, there's one. Derek Buckle says they lost a nuke off the East Coast and never found it. Yeah, I remember reading about that. Yeah, the government has lost a lot of crap over the years.
You gotta love a broken arrow.
Yeah, never a good thing.
Mark Napier says each of the Avengers had three crewmen. Yeah, pilot, navigator, and a gunner. And for an entire flight of those guys, what was it, like 20? I think he said 27 men, 9 planes.
Yeah, something like that.
The original Flight 19 had 5 planes. So you figure that's 15 men right there.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the PBY crewmen that got lost too. So.
True. Lucas Williams says, even if they had a story about it, I'm not sure I'd trust it. Powers that shouldn't be are constantly lying about the past. Yeah, you're not wrong about that.
Imagine that.
Northwood Scripted says, the thing that usually comes to mind for me, along with the Bermuda Triangle, is the Philadelphia experiment. Yeah, we're gonna save that little gem for a entire show. I want to do a show just on the Philadelphia experiment, but that is a very, very interesting bit of something that happened during World War II. Like I said, I don't want to jump into that. That's a good one for us to save for an entire show, because that's a topic I really love going down.
Yeah, another good one we could do for another show too is what Mr. Chef Yoda put up about the Alaska Triangle, because there was a show about that today as well. That could be another good show.
The Alaskan Triangle is mostly overland, and it's where like I believe they said 30,000 people have gone missing over the last 40 years. Right. Marshall Serrata said, I thought they were Navy planes. They were all Navy planes. But Sal says maybe they should look on eBay for that nuke. Maybe it's for sale.
Could be. Find anything on eBay, man. And like Werewolf was talking about how he's been there. He said, I've seen the water as smooth as glass there, but that's the weird thing about it. There's been known to be these freak storms that come up with huge waves, the whirlpools that encompass several hundred square miles that hold billions of gallons of water in that pool. And I mean, who knows, man? I mean, they said, yeah, for low-flying aircraft, could it get caught in the wave? Yeah, if they're looking for something and they're low enough, I mean, that's plausible. But I don't know. You'd think they'd find something on sonar.
Yeah, that, and, even if it was rogue waves, it's not like a rogue wave just shows up and just takes them out in a split second. They would have enough time to get off a distress call. And a lot of these never did.
Right.
No distress call. Of course, a lot of them were from before there were shipboard radios. But, some of these, if you look back at these, the incidents at sea, the first recorded one was, like we said, Christopher Columbus. In 1800, the USS Pickering was on course from Guadalupe to Delaware. It was lost with no sign. They think it might have been in a storm, but they don't know. And it went down with 90 people on board. In 1814, the USS Wasp was in the Caribbean, lost with 140 people on board. In 1824, the USS Wildcat on course from Cuba to Tompkins Island was lost with 14 people. They think it might have been lost in a storm, but they don't know. These are just ships that were lost with no sign whatsoever. And the most recent was just last year. A 29-foot blue and white Mako cuddy cabin vessel with 20 on board was last seen during departure on December 28th, 2020, and vanished in the Bermuda Triangle. That was a year ago. Less than a year ago. What, 6 months ago?
Yeah. Wow.
No, I'm sorry, December 2020. This is 2022. So yeah, it was about 14 months ago.
Yeah. Well, and then a modern vessel like that, it would have been required to have like an EPIRB beacon or one of those things, that would, if the boat capsized, you'd get a signal right away. The stuff uplinks to satellites and.
Well, there was a ship called the SS Pharaoh, which was lost on October 1st, 2015. Went down with 33 aboard in the Bermuda Triangle, but it ran into Hurricane Joaquin.
Well, there's your problem.
Yeah. And July of 2015, Two 14-year-old boys, Austin Stefanos and Perry Cohen, went on a fishing trip on the 19-foot boat, and they were never found. They found the boat a year later.
I remember
they found
that
the
story.
boat, but they never found the kids.
Yeah, I remember that story.
Yeah, that one was a weird one. The HMCS St. Laurent, DDH-205, sank off of Cape Hatteras in January 12th, 1980. The closest point on North American was mainland Bermuda. The ship started taking on water after encountering the tail end of a storm. Some of these can be explained, but some of them just absolutely disappeared. The Witchcraft disappeared December 22nd, 1967. Some of these ships were military ships. 1941, the USS Proteus was lost with 58 persons lost in heavy seas. I mean, these go back. I mean, there's the Cyclops, who was left Barbados on March 4th, 1918, was lost with 306 crew. I mean, the list is huge. And, I could, of course, I was just reading those off of a list. I don't have those committed to memory, but there were just so many of them. And then you look at the aircraft that have been lost.
Yeah. And the aircraft, like you're talking about, that one pilot that actually gained time, there's actually been reports of passenger aircraft where their watches were, the same as they were, but they were way ahead of time, local time, things like that.
John Doe says many of these triangles align with vile vortices or other supposed zones of activity. It's weird. I mean, there's several triangles around the world, but the most infamous is the Bermuda Triangle.
Well, they've had an issue in one story I read where they were talking about how when individual showed up, they showed up like 2 days later, but their watch was showing as if it had been a continuous path. Somehow there was like 2 days lost. It's just
Derek Buckle says, has anyone studied the percentage or military versus civilian aircraft and boats? I haven't. I don't have a complete list of everything that's been labeled lost in the Bermuda Triangle. I've just got partial lists that I've been putting together over the last few days since I started prepping for the show. But I would be interested to know how many military vessels and planes versus civilian planes went missing. Some of the planes that experienced trouble in the Bermuda Triangle were not like small aircraft. There were a couple of them were like aircraft, like liners. I'm trying to look for the one. Eastern Caribbean Airways Flight 912, a Piper Chieftain flown by Irving Rivers, so arriving in St. Thomas from St. Croix, vanished after being sighted by the control tower. They were seen by the control tower, and they never found the plane.
Yeah. And then,
so they were within sight of the airport.
And then in the late 60s or early 70s, there was a 727 that disappeared off radar on approach into Miami. Disappeared. Okay, so when a plane disappears off radar, that causes ATC, air traffic control, to panic just a little bit. And then a full 10 minutes later, guess what? They got a blip back in the same exact position that it had disappeared. Plane landed normally, every crew and everybody was fine, with the exception that their watches were now a full 10 minutes behind.
Wild.
Weird stuff.
In 1965, June of 65, a U.S. Air Force C-119 flying boxcar assigned to the 440th Troop Carrier Wing went missing between Florida and Grand Turk Island. The last call from the plane came from a point just north of Crooked Island, Bahamas, 177 miles from Grand Turk Island. A month later, debris from the plane was found on the beach of Gold Rock Cay, just off the northeastern shore of Acklands Island. But there's no explanation on why it went down. They had been checking in. Another Air Force plane in 72, a KB-50, was lost over the Atlantic between the U.S. East Coast and the Azores. Looking for the other one. B-29 had to ditch in the Atlantic. 2 crewmen were missing, but 3 days later, 18 survivors were rescued 85 miles northeast of Bermuda. A Douglas DC-3 was lost with 3 crew and 36 passengers en route from San Juan, Puerto Rico to Miami. I mean, some of these were liners. I mean, liners of their day.
And that's a short hop, man, from San Juan to Miami. That's like a short hop.
Well, and that's right along one of the edges of the triangle.
Yeah.
The three apexes are Miami, San Juan, and Bermuda.
Yeah.
In February of 2017, a Turkish Airlines TK-133, it was an Airbus A330, had to change course from Havana to Washington Dulles Airport after mechanical and electrical problems started occurring over the triangle. They had to divert. I mean, they didn't go down, but it was over the triangle where their problems began.
Yeah,
and I don't think any explanation was ever found for why it screwed up.
I mean, yeah, there's story after story after story of this, and people are no closer now. You know, scientists want to offer a logical, rational, scientific explanation, but then there are other scientists that are like, dude, that still doesn't add up, and they're still no closer now than they were, you know, hundreds of years ago.
Well, and there's been no
stuff happens.
You know, and when you start digging into stuff, it gets weirder and weirder. You start hearing reports of things like these unidentified submersible objects and things,
UFOs and stuff like
things
that.
going from air to the sea, without interruption, and back out,
Well, it wasn't just limited to aircraft and ships. In 1969, at Great Isaac Lighthouse in Bimini, two lighthouse keepers vanished and were never found. How does that happen?
That's really bizarre.
Lighthouse keepers just gone.
I mean, they're on solid ground,
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Well, and these are typically very responsible individuals.
Yeah.
Because, they're doing very important work with little supervision.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff, man.
They're not the kind of person you expect to, get shit-faced and fall in the ocean.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I would say lighthouse duty on an island would probably get pretty boring, but still, even if there's a storm, you're like, batten it down and stay in here. We've got a job to do.
Well, it is amazing how quick a storm can come up. I was on a cruise ship a couple of years ago, and we were just skirting the edge of the Bermuda Triangle because we were going around Grand Turk, and I mean it went from crystal clear to like 30-foot waves, and this was a full-size cruise ship. It holds like 3,000 passengers, and we were in the bow of the ship, hanging out in the little theater that was in there, and like you could feel that everything just tilting and yawing and everything, and I remember I left the show that I was in, and the crew was all kind of staggered around the deck because they're bumping into the bulkheads, and there's like barf bags hanging everywhere. And all the crew was real pale. And I'm like, okay, these are, first of all, they're mostly Asian people, so you don't see them pale very often. But then on top of the whole thing, these are people that spend their life at sea, and they were getting sick. And I'm like, so it was a hell of a storm, just, like that.
I'd have been blowing a chum line, man. That's for damn sure.
And, it was pretty creepy stuff. We went up to the top of the deck where they had like a basketball court, and we were jumping, when we were on the crest of the waves, and jumping 20-30 feet in the air. It was pretty neat. It kind of kept our mind off the fact that we thought we were going to die. But they said that the water we were in was about as stormy as they could handle without having to shut down, and that was just scary to think about. When you're on a floating city, that it was almost a bad enough storm to stop it.
Wow.
My uncle told me a story when he was stationed on Enterprise. He said he was in the military for almost 20 years, and most of it was on Enterprise. He was an electronics mate working on aircraft. And he said that one time they were trying to avoid a typhoon in the South Pacific, and they were trying to skirt it, but they were still hitting the rough seas and everything at the edge of the typhoon. And he got called up on the flight deck to help secure aircraft because everybody was getting called. All hands on deck, get these aircraft secured before they get swept overboard. And he said at one point he was standing on the flight deck of Enterprise and looked out, and there was a wave taller than the flight deck. Oh. Yeah, I said, what'd you do? He goes, that was a butt puckering moment, I can tell you. He says, we got those aircraft below deck, and I didn't go back up.
Yeah, that'll make you pucker. That'll make you pucker up quick.
If you got a wave taller than the deck of an aircraft carrier, you're in some rough seas.
Yeah,
oh, have mercy.
Well, if the wave's big enough that you can fit an aircraft carrier in the trough of it, there's a problem.
Yeah. Well, I know this isn't the Bermuda Triangle, but there was a Japanese container ship. I think it was called the Hideki Maru, and it was carrying just a ton of containers. And it ran into a typhoon off of Japan, and it snapped that thing in half, and it went down in seconds. I mean, just basically it plowed through a wave, it snapped the spine of the ship, and it never came back up.
Yeah, broke its keel.
Wow.
Yeah,
they found it. She's at a depth of like 17,000 feet or something like that.
Good Jesus.
Thank you.
Yeah. Power of the sea is unforgiving, man. That's for sure. Unforgiving and forgetful.
Werewolf 5674 says on Saratoga, we took waves over the bow on the North Atlantic. Jesus. I bet that was a coming to Jesus moment.
This is why I was in the Air Force.
Ooh.
Nope.
John Doe says, I have some pictures of what happens to unfortunate ships that get caught in storms unprepared. Well, I'd like to see those. That would be pretty cool. Hey, Josh. Josh has jumped in. Josh, if you want to jump right in, you are welcome to, brother. Northwood's Cryptid says, when I arrived overseas, they told us not to unpack because they were tracking a typhoon. Fortunately, it didn't get very close or we would have flooded the island. Damn. The ocean is powerful. And and this doesn't just apply to the Bermuda Triangle, although it does apply to it as well. We know less about the bottom of our own ocean than we know about the surface of the moon, which to me is just insane. Be it out the Atlantic, the Pacific, any ocean you want to name, the Indian Ocean, doesn't matter. If you deviate from the shipping lanes, you may never be seen again.
That's right.
Because they just don't deviate from those shipping lanes.
That's scary.
Because the ocean is vast and very unforgiving, and it doesn't take long for a big ship to get in a lot of trouble.
Well, yeah, I mean, you think about it, man. You talk about it, how we've got it mapped out. I mean, there's canyons and mountains and everything far higher and deeper than anything we have here on the surface. You know, and it's all over. I mean, Marianas Trench out there near Guam.
Yeah, what's that? 5 miles deep or something like that?
Oh, yeah, something insane. I had a buddy of mine that was on SEAL detachment out there, and he said, "Yeah, man," he said, it's scary how deep it is.
Well, it drops off so fast. When I was in the Philippines, I was out at Corregidor Island, and they were saying that the water's like 30, 40 feet deep. And then it drops off to 2,000 feet, and and of course, it's the Philippines. So, every resource you had there is kind of low rent. And, we're on this little pissant little pontoon boat going between Manila and Corregidor. I'm like, yeah, we made a wrong turn and we went down.
Yeah.
Josh, I forgot Josh was in the Coast Guard. Sorry, brother. Josh said, when I was in the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Dallas, we took waves so high in the mess, we just saw water out the windows at deck level. Yeah, that's an oh shit moment.
I didn't know Josh was a puddle pirate. That's pretty rad.
A puddle pirate.
Right on, man.
I had a buddy who was a diver, and he was telling me he was diving off the coast of one of the Philippine islands, and he said the water wasn't deep; it was clear, and he was just going along looking for anything he could find on the bottom. He said they were just kind of what he called treasure diving, looking for shit people dropped off boats and stuff. He said you find wristwatches and all kinds of shit in that shallow water, but he started kicking into a little thing of seaweed. And he said it didn't look that thick. He said, I just thought I'd just kind of poke through it. He said, I kind of pushed some of it to the side, and as soon as my head cleared the other side, all I could see was down. He said, it just dropped. He said, God knows how deep it was. He goes, and the weird part is the current felt like it was pulling me toward it. I said, what'd you do? He goes, I turned around and got my ass out of there.
Yep. Yeah.
Talk about looking into the jaws of nothing.
Yeah, and that's the way it is. It's deceiving because I was scuba diving down in off the Bahamas, off of Grand Exuma, and we were just out there fiddle farting around, and they were like, "Yeah, that it looks like you could touch it," and I was at like 30 feet, and they said, "Yeah, that's like 300 feet down."
Yeah,
but it was like so clear, you could. It's deceptive, so it's crazy how it can drop that fast.
Well, you think about Hawaii, the big island of Hawaii is the top of a mountain. It's the tallest mountain in the world. If you go for the whole, height of the mountain.
Werewolf 5674 says the Navy lost more destroyers to the weather than combat in World War II.
I believe it.
Sorry, Steve. Didn't mean to step on you there.
No, that's all right. I believe that. Growing up in Missouri, of course, I hadn't seen too many hurricanes. They don't tend to get out this far. But when I was in the Philippines, a typhoon came in, and I was absolutely terrified because I'm living in Manila. I'm in a 17th story apartment, and I'm like, oh, I'm pretty good. We're good. And then I realized that Manila was built on very sandy soil, and that it's 34 feet above sea level. And
not a pleasant place to be.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
It's gonna be great. We'll be fine.
It's like living in New Orleans and shooting explosive arrows at the dike. Oh, what could happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you live in a
yeah, you're going to flood the damn town, moron.
You live in a toilet bowl there, that's for sure. Yeah, it's amazing. Thanks, Werewolf. Appreciate it, brother.
Didn't they refer to the destroyer fleets in World War II as the tin can sailors? I believe that's what they used to refer to the old destroyers.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Werewolf, that's a nice shirt, Carrie. Louis Noriega says, they say in Newport Beach off the pier, about 50 feet off the pier, there's a canyon that dropped down to about 2,000 to 3,000 feet. And people like to fish at the corner of the pier, try to get the fishing line to drop into the canyon and see if they can pull out yellowtail.
There's some money in that yellowtail.
Heck yeah, there is. That's I grew up swimming in lakes and rivers and creeks around Missouri and ponds. And I don't know that I could ever join the Navy because I don't like the thought that the ground is farther away from me, below me, than I would be to drive home. I just don't like water that deep.
Negative.
It freaks me out. Well, my buddy Clint Bruce, he's was a Navy SEAL. And he was telling me one time they deployed somewhere, and he couldn't tell me where they were deploying. He said, but they left the airlock on a sub, and he said they were swimming in open water heading for an island. And he said I looked down. He says, and I shouldn't have done it because he says a shark that I couldn't even begin to tell you how long it was swam right beneath us. I said, what happened? He goes, well, he went on about his business and we went on about ours, but I thought I was going to have to change my wetsuit.
Man. No, yeah.
So, I wonder if feces would act as chum to attract a shark.
He told me, so I couldn't tell you exactly how big it was. He says, but it was way bigger than people say they.
Yeah, Steve, it either act as a repellent or it'd be like that old Charlie stink bait you use for catfish.
Get the attention of something nasty.
Man. Yeah, I mean,
found a way to lure in megalodon.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they've mapped out some of the sections out the Triangle, man, and I mean, how many thousands of feet are they? They're some of the deepest sections out there in that area of the Atlantic. Yeah, and I mean, my God, they're not going to. They were even saying they were sending down a submersible down in one of those vortices, and it's gone. They said it was irretrievably lost. They had to cut the cable because it got sucked into that thing, moving billions of gallons of water, and
wasn't no getting it back.
Gone. Yeah, no getting it back. So there's really no accurate. Yeah, there's really no accurate way to track it because what if other stuff has been sucked down there? So I don't know. I don't know what the hell.
Devil's toilet.
Yeah,
Carrie, I think this is when we agree with you. Northwood says sharks. Yet another reason I'm glad I was in the Air Force.
Amen to that, brother. I mean, when they told us when I was air crew and they said, "Oh, here's your exposure suit and all that kind of crap," and did a water survival, and I was like, well, if I've got my sidearm, I'm probably just going to off myself because I'm going to be shark bait. That's for sure. So.
Creepers, Cryptid and Paranormal Corner says vomit does whenever people go on charters and start spewing. People will fish next to them. I guess it draws in the fish.
Yep. That was me. I was blowing a chum line off of one of the deep sea fishing trips I did with my brothers, and they were all, "Man, you bringing them in, man."
When I was in my early 20s, I went out to visit a buddy of mine lived out in California, and his family owned a fishing boat. They lived in San Diego, and they said, "You want to go fishing?" I'm like, "I grew up fishing lakes and rivers." I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Hell, I've never gone deep sea fishing." So we take this trawler out toward Catalina Island. We're offshore quite a ways. I can't even see land anymore. And I go to set down on one of these seats, and I notice that you got seat belts. And I'm like, "Why the hell these seats got seat belts in them?" And my buddy Richie's like, "Is there shit out here that'll pull you out of the boat, man?" And I'm like, "Okay. All right, fair enough. I want to catch a big fish."
Yeah.
So I get all seat belted in. I got bait ready. I got, they've been throwing bait, chum off the edge to try to draw in fish. And I've got my bait set up. I got my pole set up. I've got a beer. I got a dip in. I'm just king of the world getting ready to make my first cast. And I lean over the rail to spit. And this was a 25-foot boat. I swear to God, a shark, every bit as long as that damn boat, swam right under me. And you know what I did? I set the fishing pole down. I unhooked my belt. I grabbed my beer, and I went up on the flying bridge, and that's where I stayed.
And you swallowed that dip.
Yeah. I turned green around the gills. Rich's dad is like, "Ain't you ever seen a big fish before?" I'm like, "We got big fish in Missouri, but none of them that'll freaking eat you."
Looks like it screw this shit o'clock. That's for sure.
I didn't make a cast, not one. I just put the pole down, put the bait back, grabbed my beer, and went up on the flying bridge.
Yeah. I don't do well on anything over 2 foot. The chop. I went down, and my brother had a 40-foot boat years ago, and we went out fishing out towards Louisiana from Mississippi, from Biloxi. We set out of the Biloxi Marina. And water got a little choppy, and I went below decks. I should have never done that, and I got everything started tilting with me. Oh yeah, I was done the rest of the day.
Rough water. I was coming on a boat through Mobile Bay, and it was pretty damn rough.
Yeah,
it wasn't even a quote unquote stormy day.
No, we went out on that fishing boat. The ocean was pretty calm, but when we were coming back, the waves were starting to get pretty choppy, and I threw up like George Bush on the Japanese prime minister.
Yeah,
I spewed.
Yeah. I will spew like a shook up beer can, man. That is for damn sure. I do not like it at all. And that's one of the things I was reading when you told me about the topic of the show. I was reading about this stuff, and I was like, a lot of these boats they were finding that were adrift. Other than that one you're talking, the Mary Celeste. A lot of they didn't have they had their lifeboats fully intact. Just the crew was gone.
Yeah.
So what in the hell happened to these guys?
Yeah. Well, the Ellen Austin is another one that went missing in 1881. It was a 210-foot long boat that was on its way from New York from New York from London. And she stumbled across a derelict in the Bermuda Triangle. Everything looked fine with it. It was a schooner that was just adrift near the Sargasso Sea. But they came alongside it, and they watched it for a couple of days because they thought it was a trap. And when nobody ever came out on deck, they put a crew on board. Well, the ship was in good shape. They were like, "All right, well, we'll take this in and claim it as salvage." So they put a small crew on board this other ship. And they were heading back to port, and a squall came up and separated the two. Well, it took several days for the crew of the Ellen Austin to find this ship again. And when they did, the crew that they put on board that ship was gone, but the ship was still in good shape.
That's really bizarre.
Some versions of the story say they put a second crew on, and that one disappeared just the same. But one version says it was one crew, others say it was two. But it's definitely recorded that the Ellen Austin encountered an unnamed ship with nobody on board, and the people they put on board disappeared in the same way.
Okay, well let's go the paranormal vein here. Do you think there's anything paranormal, or do you think it's like Steve was talking about with USOs, things like that? I mean, I don't know.
Just because we've only had high-end technology for the last, really good technology for the last 30, and modicum technology since World War II. I mean, we advanced. If you look at the technology level pre-World War II and now, we made advancements that were just gigantic leaps in technology in less than 100 years. I mean, we went from the Wright brothers flying in the first part of the 1900s to hypersonic jets at the end of the 1900s. That's in 100 years. So assuming our technology, is not a benchmark for other technologies, God knows how long aliens have been visiting us. Their technology could be far, hundreds of years ahead of ours. So we could have had aliens visiting Earth as, watching us as we evolved.
Yeah, I mean, and let's look at what Columbus said, and they were seeing these weird lights, and that's been one of the prominent things I've been reading on all this stuff, is that mariners and also aviators have seen odd lights or light formations and things like that out in that area. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows what it is?
Well, it is interesting stuff, and
there's also been a waterborne cryptids reported. There was a cruise ship. I mean, we had a writer on the show named Max Hawthorne a few months back. Max Hawthorne has researched a lot of water cryptids, aquatic cryptids. There was and this is documented, there was a group of people, like 20 people on a cruise ship, that reported seeing something off that was paralleling the cruise ship. Broad daylight, they all saw it, was fairly shallow water, so they could see it clearly, and the description they gave was a mosasaurus. And, it was like 30 feet long.
Yeah. And Mark Napier just said here, he said Columbus saw a USO. So where was it? Nope, sorry, wrong one. God dang it! Did it again.
It keeps jumping. Yeah,
chat keeps bouncing. Yeah, Columbus saw a USO, and I believe that could be based on what was said. That correlates with other stories, other mariners, even up to now in that area, they see in the weird lights and things like that.
Yeah. Well,
John Doe's got a point. Sorry, Steve, go ahead.
So you made an interesting point with the technology thing. Think about how far advanced compared to us they could be. Okay, let's just use today as a benchmark. 2022. If you granted it's fiction, but if you follow the timeline from like Star Trek, for example, isn't it like the year 2050 something when they come up with warp drive? It's relatively soon.
I think it was I think it was in the 2090s.
And so
after a nuclear war.
Yeah, so it's not that far off. If you follow like the next generation or whatever, you're talking about like the late 24th century. That's only 400 years.
Yeah.
Look at what they're doing in 400 years, assuming that's a realistic predictor of technology. That's crazy stuff. And just the other day, there was an article, I think it was in USA Today, where they had just finally come up with a viable fusion and reactor, that actually made substantially more energy than you had to put into it. Okay, that's space tech right there.
Yeah, it's getting close. John Doe says, note that it took literally a single lifetime for humans to go from not flying at all to landing on the moon repeatedly. I'm gonna show my tinfoil hat here. Marshall Sirota's got it right here. So I'm convinced much of our technology is from aliens. Okay, look at our technology timeline from, say, the time the Wright brothers flew to World War II. Okay, yeah, aircraft technology jumped quite a bit. They went from fighters and everything. Look at our technology after Roswell.
Yep.
Roswell is the defining point. We were just starting to experiment with jet aircraft in World War II. None of them entered the war, but we after Roswell, boom, technology exploded.
Yep.
Let's look at night vision, lasers, fiber optics. Just to name, just to name three of them. Just to name 4 of them right there. Then those were huge technological advancements for the military, industrial complex, the scientific community as a whole. Lasers night vision, that kind of stuff. I mean, and it's only jumped by leaps and bounds since then.
All the synthetic fabrics, rayon, Dacron, Kevlar, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Everything was cotton and wool part of that.
Yeah. John Doe says there was more time between the discovery of America and the American Revolution than between the invention of flight and today.
He's 100% correct. I mean, our technology has jumped exponentially since then, and it's only continued. I mean, and I mean, there's like, again, tinfoil hat thing here, DA. They're saying there's extraterrestrial advisors who are scientists, in our scientific community, kind of giving us little breadcrumbs here and there. So I don't know. It is very interesting though. I've heard that correlation before though.
Yeah, it's, and it may not even be the Roswell incident itself. I mean, what else? What other contacts did they make? They brought up Foo Fighters.
Yeah,
there were pilots seeing alien craft all during World War II. And then you've got the P-51 Mustang pilot that crashed trying to chase one in Kentucky right after World War II. I mean, our pilots have been seeing these for a long time.
Yeah.
At what point did we start learning technology, possibly from a much higher intelligence? Because you can't tell me that we went from the Industrial Revolution to putting probes on Mars in 100 years without help.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it is, but it is an interesting correlation to the timeline is when all that technological advancement started. And even Mark Napier just said, we don't know if or how how much the Germans and Russians may have stolen from alien tech. I mean, damn, Germany was heavy into different kind of tech towards the end of the war. They had all kinds of secret installations, things like that, where they were testing some weird, super secret stuff.
Well, look at the end of World War II. How many German scientists were spirited away by both Russia and us?
Well, look at Werner von Braun. Yeah.
That's what somebody mentioned earlier.
Yeah, my uncle mentioned Werner von Braun when he was in the Navy. He said in the 60s he saw Werner von Braun brought on board Enterprise.
Yep. Well, I mean, V2
said he wasn't cleared to know what he was doing, but he recognized him from photos.
Well, I got to thinking of something, and maybe it's just because I spend way too much time watching Star Trek, but in the whole Star Trek universe, we caused first contact with, I guess it was the Vulcan, by launching that first warp-powered ship. Okay, Roswell happened in 1947. What if you were an aliens race and you were monitoring what our planet's doing, and then you see the first atomic bomb blasts? Would that get your attention?
Like, these idiots are about to blow themselves apart.
Yeah, it's like, okay, now they're getting dangerous. Let's go see what they're up to.
And if you look at the nuclear technology of, say, 1985 compared to the ones that were dropped on Japan in World War II, it basically took a bomb the size of what we dropped on Hiroshima to kickstart the nuclear bombs of the 80s, which means how far have they come today?
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're still building them.
Yeah, that's some scary stuff.
Don't everybody talk at once.
Yeah. Well, and be it aliens or UFOs or whatever, like we were saying, fighter pilots have been seeing them, ships have been seeing them. Columbus may have seen one. Could that be what's causing the disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle? I mean, certainly, if they're an advanced species here to study us, the only way they're really going to do it is by taking specimens to study.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's weird that they would do it all in one concentrated place, but hey, what do I know? Maybe they've got a base there.
Yeah, and they've got a rich sampling pool, from all the commerce going back and forth, not just military, but other transports.
Either way, somebody was getting.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're heading for some pretty deep tinfoil hat territory, talking about where the tech came from. But the original the story was talking about the Bermuda Triangle, and I like the, my personal philosophy leans toward aliens. I mean, I know there's weird things that happen at sea, but that doesn't explain aircraft. That doesn't explain modern ships with good radios. And in the case of the pleasure craft, the Witchcraft, it was a mile off Miami. They could have swam back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and
it vanished without a trace.
And how do you explain the aircraft that disappeared off radar and then reappeared in the same exact spot it disappeared from 10 minutes later, and everybody's watches were 10 minutes behind when they landed, but everybody was fine and they didn't notice anything weird. The air crew, the passengers didn't realize anything had even gone wrong. It was
what about that aircraft that was within sight of the tower and vanished without a trace? Never found it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it can be overstated that something weird has been going on in the Bermuda Triangle for a long time. And be it aliens or some sort of weird vortices or natural phenomenon, something weird is going on. And a lot of people have gone missing. And a lot of them just completely without a trace. Once in a while, they'll find debris. And this is one I found when I was like digging, and I can't swear this is true. I really can't. It made its way around the internet. It's popped up on Facebook and Twitter and other places. So I can't say that this is with any veracity whatsoever that this is true. It may be just complete BS that it was made up for the internet. But if it is true, it's extremely compelling. Supposedly, the Cuban Coast Guard announced that they had intercepted an unmanned ship heading for the island, which is presumed to be the USS Cotopaxi, a tramp steamer that vanished in December 1925 and has been connected to the legend of the Bermuda Triangle. And that was supposedly within the last couple of years. I mean, this thing's been floating around. This image has been floating around for a while. But if it's true, where the hell did it go?
Yeah, there was actually a story about this on the Science Channel a couple of years ago. This is legit.
Where
did it go for 90 years?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And the ship is still afloat.
Well, and other than being rusted, it's in good shape. There are modern Navy ships that have more rust on it than this thing does.
Well, the picture looked pretty rusty, but if it was still floating around the Bermuda Triangle, somebody would have seen it. I mean, that is a massively traveled area. Somebody would have spotted it. In the last 90 years, somebody would have spotted that ship.
You think at least shown up on Google Earth on satellites or something like that.
Somebody would have seen
imagery. Yeah.
I mean, you've got got several major naval bases in Florida that fly planes out of there all the time.
Well,
fighter groups would have seen it. I mean,
you got Pensacola Naval Air Station. Now, granted, it's on the other side of Florida, but I mean, that's a big ass damn air station.
Yeah, they do a lot of overwater flights there all the time. I mean, we did overwater flights from Fort Bragg down to Puerto Rico or Panama or, even further south than there sometimes. So you think they'd have seen something? Who knows?
Somebody would have seen it.
Yeah.
This begs the question, where the hell did it go for 90 years? And how did it stay afloat?
Yeah. And it just reappeared.
Yeah.
Still afloat, which is
even
stranger.
John Doe hit it on the head. Says strange things happen at sea.
They do. Absolutely.
There's a good one. AJ Congan says maybe they did see it and they didn't make it back.
Yeah, and they didn't make it back either.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's a very good point.
Ellen Harrington had brought a point up earlier about ships and things like that, and are there magnets there like they found at Skinwalker Ranch, and like I said earlier, there have been documented reports of huge electromagnetic anomalies out in that area, and even if you've got a modern guidance system, it can still screw with you, just like DA was talking about the one flight that had to divert from going into Havana, had to divert to Dulles because they were having electrical issues, and guidance issues on the plane. So it's weird.
Patty Figueroa. Patty, thanks for joining us. Glad you're here tonight. She says, we went to the Caribbean islands for a honeymoon, and my husband had the worst anxiety ever because he was paranoid of the Bermuda Triangle. I would have been too.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, I don't want to be part of an alien probing party.
Yeah.
I look too much like Ned Beatty without my beard.
Don't knock it until you try it.
I'll pass. Creepers Cryptid Paranormal Corner says it's all. Yeah, that's why I only go fishing in my kayak and rivers, but then I still get stalked by yowies and dogmen. I would be worried about freaking crocodiles in Australia. Half the shit in Australia is trying to kill you. The other half wants to. It's just not big enough to.
Yeah, all the plants are made out of knives.
And half of the world's deadliest snakes are in Australia.
Fact.
I mean, it's a beautiful country, and I would still love to visit it, but good God, everything there wants you dead.
Yeah. Well,
definitely
it was
not
funny.
hospitable.
When I was in Hawaii visiting my sister a few years ago, because it was tropical and I knew nothing about it, I was scared of all the everything. I was scared of the rainforest. I was scared of the water. And my brother-in-law, who's a native Hawaiian, is like, there is literally nothing poisonous in Hawaii, not a thing. At sea, on land, nothing. The most dangerous thing they have in Hawaii are mongoose. And then you think of some place like Australia, where it's the exact opposite. Everything wants to kill you.
AJ Congdon says, wasn't there a story of a ship getting stuck in an ice pack and then found hundreds of miles away decades later? I think I remember something about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the ship got stuck in the ice, and either the crew abandoned it or perished on the ship, and they found the ship adrift like 70 years later or something like that.
Wow.
John Doe says you can always get wiped out by a rogue wave, which themselves were only recently documented. Rogue waves just kind of show up out of nowhere.
Yeah, they were talking about that.
I'm not even sure they know why.
Yeah, they were talking about that on a documentary earlier about rogue waves knocking boats out, big boats.
Yeah. Mark Xavier says, as long as the aliens don't think you have a purty mouth.
Diddling, ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be on a synthesizer if it was an alien?
Be on a theremin.
I like the theremin. I think those are cool as hell. I'd love to learn to play one.
Bizzle has a good question. There you go.
Do you think that the Bermuda and the Devil's Triangles are somehow connected? It's possible. I mean, it's possible that that all of the different triangles on the planet, there are several. I mean, there are several around the planet that they all could be connected in some way. I mean, the Alaskan Triangle. There were reports off the coast of Alaska by fishing trawlers that saw literally dozens of USOs emerge from the water and take off into space. So, it could be locations where there's a lot of alien activity. Why would so many people go missing in those areas? We don't know is the problem. We may never know. Blue Cruise says, didn't World War II Nazis team up with the reptilians to build their own flying saucers, which subsequently attacked the U.S. Navy ships and to investigate? Maybe there was a battle fought over Antarctica. And I don't know if they ever said it was reptilians or what, but supposedly Admiral Perry? No, it wasn't Admiral Perry. We were just talking about him the other day. Admiral Byrd encountered supposedly alien aircraft over Antarctica and ended up getting dogfights with them. Says, are you thinking of Sir Francis Franklin's ship? It was found 168 years after his offering. That may be the one. John Doe says, the idea of German UFOs is firmly in the tinfoil hat theory. What about the bell? The thing they referred to as the bell. That thing vanished. The Nazis have been pouring research into it, and near the end of the war, it just vanished.
Yep. There's a neat series. It's a trilogy that I read recently that plays on that. It's called the Atlantis Code, and it's really neat. What's a word I'm looking for? The premise is that these aliens that we've been seeing over the last 60, 70 years are the actual Atlanteans, but they're not from Earth. And they've affected human development, and they're responsible for that jump in DNA where the human species developed, and then that jump in DNA when the Cro-Magnons took over, as the dominant species over the Neanderthals, and so forth. And it's pretty interesting. Granted, it's out there in tinfoil hat territory, but it's a good read.
Yeah, I love reading stuff like that, and I'm always looking for more stuff to read. John Doe says the thing is the bell didn't exist. Well, there were a lot of pictures of it that were smuggled out for it not to exist. But then again, is one of those, what do they call them? The wonder weapons, the supposed German wonder weapons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wonder weapons.
So, maybe it was just all meant to scare people. Who knows? It might not have ever been built. But they did find places they did find a place, I believe it was in the forests of Poland, where they found places that had been dynamited in that they believe where the bell had been actually made.
Very interesting.
Marshall says, "Be right back." Dog says, "Now." Well, the bell, as interesting as the bell is, that we're dragging ourselves off of topic. We're pretty far from the Bermuda Triangle when we start talking about World War II weapons, but which I could talk about all night. I mean, I love World War II is one of my favorite subjects.
And just like those ships, we started in the Bermuda Triangle and ended up somewhere else.
Naomi might be onto something. It's supposed to take out the aliens, kind of like in War of the Worlds.
Like it took me out, that's for sure.
Maybe you're an alien, Doc.
Maybe so. Who knows?
Doc, I should have sent you my hood. You could have worn that.
Oh my God, man.
Doc, in all your travels, have you ever been to any of the islands in the Bermuda Triangle?
I mean, I've been to never been to Bermuda. The closest I've been is Bahamas. That's literally it. I mean, I've been to Puerto Rico.
It supposedly extends all the way to the Grand Bahama Island.
Yeah, so I've been out to Grand Exuma. Been down to San Juan, Puerto Rico, Roosevelt Roads, Puerto Rico. But yeah, we never encountered any kind of weirdness. And like I said, we would fly right through there, going down from Fort Bragg, flying down. I mean, you're flying right smack dab through the middle of it. So we never got anything weird about it. So
I've never been to any of the Caribbean islands. The wife says for our 30th anniversary, she wants to go to the Caribbean. And I would be like Patty's husband. I'd be paranoid the whole time we're there. I'm like, we're going to get him done.
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, I like I said, I've never encountered anything myself. Don't know anybody personally that's encountered anything. But we would fly over water missions all the time, going down there, and never had anything weird happen. Thankfully, knock on wood. But and I love the Caribbean, beautiful area. But
oh yeah, it's pretty. Yeah. We were down there for my honeymoon, and we went to Grand Turk and Half Moon Cay and Grand Bahama Island, and I mean, I felt perfectly safe. But it was beautiful.
If we ever went to any of the islands in the Caribbean, like Jamaica or anything like that, I'd be the only fat guy on the beach asking locals if they had any Bigfoot stories.
See, I have a similar problem. When I lay down on the beach, they call in Greenpeace and they try to drag my ass back in the water.
Start throwing water on me, tell me they can save this one.
Yep. It's happened.
Tracy Bennett says, I have to be careful about the UFO thing. I had a nightmare. I was being abducted and it was intense. Woke up screaming and crying. Had to crawl in bed with my daughter. I've heard of people having nightmares like that. And what do they call that? The close encounter of the fifth kind. Mm-hmm. Where it's very possible that people. I keep hearing the sound like somebody's logging into the.
Same here. Yeah.
I've heard it like 3 times now. But it's I think there's a movie about that called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. There's Josh.
Yeah. This is Josh trying to join in.
There he is.
Yeah, we kept hearing you try, but it wasn't working. Oh, he's froze. Oh no, he's moving.
No, that was
he's on the move.
That was my brain loading.
It was buffering.
Josh was loading.
DA.
Nice cup, man. I'm liking it.
Nice.
We got to get hats made too.
I gotta make some adjustments to it. It's not on center and it needs to be a little bit bigger.
Needs to be centered and bigger. Blue Crew says, we get back on track to Bermuda, just picture endless clear blue water with coral reefs and plenty of colorful fish. I know those islands out there are beautiful, but I mean, even flying out there, I'd be like looking out the windows like, is anything pacing us?
Yeah, the most beautiful beach I've ever seen was in the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah, it's just pretty stuff.
Yes, sir. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Josh, where were you at when you were in the Coast Guard?
I was stationed out of Charleston, South Carolina, and our op area was the Caribbean. We did get to one time go through the Panama Canal. We were cruising out by the Galapagos Islands we were trying to hunt down a fairly large ship loaded down with several $1 million worth of cocaine. Wow. We missed it by 2 days. Our relief caught it 2 days after we left.
Your ship came back to port, a little heavier, and everybody was wide awake.
But we
were all paranoid.
We did get to hunt down a lot of fast boats running drugs between like Cuba and South America. Man, that Sea Whiz sounds so beautiful when it sings. You only got to turn that on for 2 seconds for that fast boat goes, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and stop.
Yeah, you might be fast, but you ain't faster than a bullet.
And the Sea Whiz isn't even designed to shoot at those. You just turn it on, they hear it. But we did shoot the cannon once off the front, and it was shot ahead of a fast boat, and it stopped because it left a pretty large splash in the ocean, and they were like, I value life today.
That's Coast Guard for stop.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're good.
We'll remind you that you don't need to go fast.
So do you ever see anything weird in that area? Or answer distress calls and not find anything?
We actually avoided the Panama Canal. Obviously, we had to skirt through the edge of it near Miami and stuff. But we actually
Panama
avoided.
Canal. Who said anything about the Panama Canal?
I went through the Panama Canal.
Yeah, no, but you said you avoided the Panama Canal. I'm like,
I meant the Bermuda Triangle.
The Bermuda Triangle. Okay, I got you.
We actively.
Why would they avoid the Panama Canal?
We actively avoided that area, and mainly because our op area was the Caribbean itself. We didn't have to, just going to and from Charleston, we would pass through the edge of it, but it was like an unspoken thing. Like I asked about it once, and my chief was just like, "We just don't go there." Pretty simple. All I need to know.
Yeah, and we're not going there.
We're going to Aruba. Sounds good to me. I'll get my drinking shoes on.
And you did.
Yep. I mean, I saw weird things, but not in the Bermuda Triangle. Things that shall never be mentioned. Like when you go to your buddies, to Vegas, there's things that just happen you just don't talk about.
It's like when people ask me what I got out of the military, I tell them bad knees and a high tolerance for alcohol.
Pretty much.
Pretty much what nursing has done for me.
I was single when I went in, obviously, and because I was a kid right out of high school, and so I had zero obligations. I lived on the boat, so cash was 100% disposable. We were in Cuba,
Guantanamo Bay,
in Gitmo, and what's interesting about Gitmo is the Navy admiral sets the drinking age. It was 18 when we came in. There was a changeover while we were there. It was 21 while we were still there. Didn't stop me from going. Got paid. My check was, I don't know, around $600. Whatever I was making as an E3.
Not a lot, I'm sure.
I woke up with less than $50 and no memory of that night.
Yeah.
That's a sound investment, sir.
And we refer to that as the payday blitz.
I will say that a captain's mast followed shortly thereafter. We'll leave it at that.
One hell of a night of drinking on the night of payday, and then Mad Dog 2020 from Class 6 the rest of the month.
Yep.
The XO had to buy new shoes.
Oh.
Ooh.
So you went full George Bush on him, huh?
Oh, I got out of the Liberty van and I was like, I gotta vomit. I run around the Liberty van. Didn't even know he was in the van with us. He came out the other side, threw up behind the van, all over his legs and shoes.
Josh.
Yeah. Gosh. Bad day. And then apparently I was in like 4 different sleeping berths of other people, like the female sleeping berth at one point, not doing anything, just using their bathroom, leapfrogging my way till I got to mine.
Naomi asked a question. She says, "Is the Sargasso Sea in the Bermuda Triangle?" I don't know.
Let's find out.
Yeah. We just happen to have our data miner right here.
That's right. We happen to have Josh in the room.
The Sargasso Sea is very close.
You know, when I finally get my house that runs on AI and I can like talk to it, I'm going to name it Josh, and it can do things for me and find things.
Naomi says, "My dream in life would be to own a 52-foot catch and travel the world." I once had an encounter with a well-known author that I will not name. Not publicly. I'm not going to be that guy. But he told me, he looked me in the face and told me that since I wasn't with a major publishing company, that I was no better than a fan fiction writer. And I vowed at that particular moment that if my books ever really took off, I was going to buy a schooner and sail around the Caribbean. And the name of the boat was going to be Suck It, and the name of that author.
Oh,
well, this is the one that I'm going to be the bartender on, right?
That's the one.
All right. DA, instead of downloading it and sending it to you or uploading, I'm just going to share my screen real quick.
Okay, that'll work.
Let's see if you don't mind.
Don't mind a bit.
Good, because I was going to do it anyway. All right. So there we go. There's the Sargasso.
Wow, the Sargasso is bigger than I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
No wonder ships avoid it.
Yeah, there's a nice little overlap in what I would assume that isn't that upper corner the more problematic portion of the triangle.
I don't know. Because I don't know off the top of my head.
I mean, the whole area. You know, you got people coming out of Miami and Puerto Rico and stuff, and all the islands they tend to go missing. But I feel like the further out you go, the worse it gets. But I could be wrong. But yeah. Yeah, Carrie, I'll show that again real quick since you weren't here. The Sargasso, there is some overlap with the Bermuda Triangle, what we were talking about there, kind of in the upper corner.
Okay, gotcha.
That is literally the Venn diagram of, oh, hell no, I ain't going there.
And I pass. I don't like being out on the ocean anyway.
Ain't enough scotch in the world, brother.
You know, we were talking about me being in the Coast Guard. I have a major fear of deep water. 1. 2, major fear of large objects under the water, like that, you know, shipwrecks and stuff like that. Like, it gives me anxiety. And 2, large animals under the water. And I joined the Coast Guard of all things. Not sure why I didn't go into the Air Force, because I don't eat crayons, so I didn't go Marines. Sorry, I got some good Marine friends, and he reminds me on a daily basis that red is his favorite flavor.
Oh, hell no.
I was sending crayon eating memes to a couple of buddies of mine earlier today.
So, you know, I gotta mess with you because you are Coast Guard. So my son-in-law is in the Coast Guard, and he's stationed at Alameda, and he's the one that's married to my daughter that's the huge Jonathan Mayberry fan, and Jonathan gave her the signed first edition that I'm jealous of. But anyway, my daughter's married name is Sprinkle. So this guy is a
Sprinkle.
his rate is semen. He is semen sprinkle, and I have had hours of wholesome entertainment with that.
I went to school with a guy whose last name was Staines, and I tried to talk him out of going in the Navy. He's like, "Oh no, nobody will make that joke. That's like junior high." He came back on his first liberty, and he's like, "I should have listened to you."
Well, what's so funny is
Private Staines wouldn't have been any better.
What's funny is when I asked him, I said, "So what's your rate?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm an E whatever." And I had to look it up because again, not military. I'm like, "You're a seaman." He goes, "Yeah, shut up." I'm like, "Seaman sprinkle." Yep, shut up.
I was actually rated a seaman. I was a TC, and so I got called Snitsy all the damn time.
But yeah, I've had hours of wholesome entertainment with seaman sprinkle. So
yeah, I would definitely not let that die.
You can't make this out. I keep telling him he needs to get his ass promoted pretty quick.
If he was an officer in the army, then he could be Major Sprinkle.
Oh my God, bless his heart. Oh my Lord.
So
I don't take her coffee.
I don't want to take you guys off topic, but was looking some stuff up about that sea. The Devil's Triangle in Japan came up compared to Bermuda Triangle. Do you guys know much about that?
It's probably where Godzilla lives.
Probably. Doc, I think that question's for you, though.
What's that, man? Bit off topic, but which Dark Angel kit would be the best to go? Best to get to Chuck and the family camping gear for when we go away. How many people you got, brother? I mean, I would go with like the hard case because you got boo-boo stuff. And then you got some trauma stuff in there too. So and plus it's red, it floats, it's airtight, watertight, things like that. So I would go with a hard case.
That's my everyday personal one. You can tell it's dirty as hell.
yeah. I mean it's you could do that and it doesn't take up a whole lot of space. Fits in the boat, kayak, whatever, you can lash it down. So I think I got one right here. Actually, I do. Imagine that. So, yeah, that's it right there.
Nice. I need to get one of those for the new car.
Yeah, those things are nice, man. Sorry, that was that's good. And hey, Naoma, here goes Naoma with a topic thing. Okay, getting off topic. I got a Marine Corps joke for y'all.
Okay.
So in the Air Force, we call the helicopters because that's what they are technically,
right?
And the Navy and the Coasties call them helos. The Army calls them choppers. You know what the Marine Corps calls them?
Ooh.
So there you go. There's my Marine Corps joke for you.
Lord.
Well, hopefully Sentinel's watching tonight.
Oh my God. Oh Lord!
I'm just thinking of get to the chopper.
Yeah,
get to the chopper.
All right, so back on topic.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord!
We digressed early tonight.
Yeah, my lung feels great. That's in America. Coughing up some lung butter in the bathroom. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm working on something here for you.
Okay. Well, talking about stuff that disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle, though, there was a ship called the Carroll A. Deering. It was a 5-masted commercial schooner, and it's one of the most written about maritime mysteries of the 20th century due to the complete mystery around its abandonment. On January 31st, 1921, Carroll A. Deering was found hard aground on the treacherous rocks of Hatteras Diamond Shoals, North Carolina. There was speculation that the vessel was involved in rum running. However, when the investigation team from Barbados reached the vessel after days of effort in the rough sea, what they found was a deserted ship with all crew members missing, along with the crew's personal belongings, ship's navigational equipment, logbooks, and life rafts. Often known as the ghost ship of the Outer Banks, the disappearance of the Carroll A. Deering, along with a few other vessels during the same time period in Bermuda Triangle area, has been valuable information on the mysterious waters. Nothing could bring anyone closer to solving this mystery. Reports suggest that as many as 9 vessels disappeared during this period in the same region, none of which was ever heard from again.
Well, that's not weird at all.
A 5-masted commercial schooner. That's a big boat.
Yeah,
that was back in the days of wooden ships and iron men.
Yeah, that is a slightly large dinghy.
Man, that's a big ship. And what year was that?
Oh, it was in 1921.
Man.
Of course, we talked about the witchcraft. That one still, the witchcraft still freaks me out because they don't like going out for a lengthy voyage on the in the seas. They went off the coast of Miami only a mile to look at the Christmas lights in Miami, and they radioed in. We talked about this one earlier, but they radioed in that they'd struck something and requested the Coast Guard's help. And it was said that the Coast Guard set off from Miami immediately and was at their last reported position in 19 minutes, but they never found a single sign of the ship. And it was only a mile off Miami.
You'd think the water wouldn't be too deep there.
You wouldn't think. You would think, and the Coast Guard, I'm sure, did sonar soundings looking for the ship. It did not set out for a lengthy voyage. They just went out to look at Christmas lights.
Well, they would have done a little bit more, but their sonar guy was running berth to berth while throwing up on the exo shoes. And,
it was Josh.
He had one job.
All right, DA, I've got one for you. Okay, so this is from the Herald. Lost World War II plane reappears 75 years after, crew looking 35 years younger. The 2 men asked the management of the airport if World War II was over and who won, claiming they had no memory of what had happened to them in the last 75 years. A World War II plane with one of a group of 5 Grumman TBM Avenger torpedo bombers that disappeared over the Bermuda Triangle on December 5th, 1945, has reappeared at the restricted flight zone at Patrick Air Force Base in Brevard, Florida, around 7:15 a.m. on February 13th, 2020. The plane used an abandoned military radio frequency to demand permission to land on the installation, ignoring several warnings from tower operators, with a pilot insisting the aircraft was a military vehicle belonging to the U.S. Air Force or U.S. Army Air Force or U.S. Air Corps. According to reports, 2 old men wearing World War II uniforms came out of the plane looking disoriented and confused. The U.S. Air Force spokesman was reported to have said that the 2 men asked the management who won, claimed no memory of what had happened to them in the last 75 years. The colonel said the men's fingerprints and teeth seemed to match the military records of men that claimed to be Lieutenant James Monroe and Captain David Smith Jr. However, they look much younger than they should. He said they look around 65-year-old when they should have been over 110 years old. It's as if they have gotten lost in the warp zone where time is slow.
How did the plane stay in the air?
This is
it weird. It still had enough fuel to land? What the hell?
Yeah, this is something from the Herald. This was at February 13th, 2020.
That's an actual newspaper clip?
That's an actual newspaper. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Holy crap. I never heard anything about that.
Yeah. I didn't
either.
So
one of those Avengers intact landed with the crew on board.
Literally just saw this and I was like, that's kind of crazy. So I'm going to send that to you on text.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Weird stuff, bro. Weird stuff.
That defies all logical explanation.
Yeah. I don't know.
No wonder the Navy's been quiet about it.
Yeah, that's my whole thing right there. That's my whole reaction to it is, I don't know. Yeah. That's weird. 75 years later.
The Navy.
Hey, you sound a little flabbergasted.
Yeah, I am. I mean, if the Navy could confirm that, of course, obviously, if it made it to a local paper, the Navy should just go, yeah, it happened. I mean, because it's already out into public knowledge.
Yeah,
the Navy should just admit it happened, but they could check the cowlings and look for serial numbers to see if it was legit. And if the serial numbers match,
yep, that's my
crap.
Thing. Yeah, if the serial numbers on the engine and everything, the airframe match, then I mean, if these dudes look like they're in their 60s and they should have been over 100 years old, That's
Dude, that's mind blowing.
That's crazy. I just saw that and I was like, I gotta let y'all know about that.
I am glad you shared that. That to me that just kind of blows the lid off of the whole Bermuda Triangle thing.
Yep.
There's no way that was natural. That had to have been some sort of temporal anomaly. But then they still aged. I mean, hell, when they took off, those guys probably were in their 20s.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if they were a naval flight crew coming off of World War II, most of that flight crew probably would have been in their 20s. The pilot might have been a little older, but
still
let's say that
20s.
entire flight crew was 25. Just out of if they come back in their 60s, that means that to them 40 years have passed and that plane was still flying.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Weird stuff, man. Weird stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Love Luis Noriega always being the pragmatist there. Imagine the back pain of the pilots.
Those poor bastards.
The
thing is, if those guys, if they're proven to be the crew, can you imagine the back pay the Navy owes them?
Oh my God, what a check.
Yeah.
Holy moly, those guys are millionaires.
Yeah.
See, that's where you screwed up, Josh. You should have just gone through a time warp in the Bermuda Triangle. You would have kept your check. You would have spent it on booze.
Wait, but the thing is,
loaded right now.
Here's the thing, man. There's multiple documented cases of aircraft. You mentioned one. I mentioned the other one, the commercial flight plus the military. I mean, with like John Doe was talking about time slips. I mean, what's the explanation for these time slips? That, I mean, there is none.
There's no logical explanation.
There's no logical explanation for these time slips.
Yeah.
Mark Napier had an interesting point. He said in the late 60s, the 70s through the 80s, small vessels were often boarded, the passengers and crew killed, and the idea of the vessel changed to run drugs, but not necessarily the incident about the witchcraft. Yeah, I'm sure that some of those especially smaller craft could possibly have been seized. I'm not saying every missing aircraft or missing boat in the Bermuda Triangle was aliens or a vortex. Some of them could be unexplained phenomenon. It could have been piracy. But how do pirates jack aircraft? I mean, they like that old cartoon Tailspin where you've got Don Carnage in the flying battleship that lowers the deck and they drag him in. This is me, Don Carnage, stealing your ship.
Yeah, and they almost even brings up like pirates are still an issue in the Caribbean. Yes, absolutely they are.
Not the Johnny Depp kind either.
Yeah, not the why's the rum gone? Type of thing.
Why's the coffee gone?
Yeah, exactly.
Gonna have to switch to bourbon.
Yeah, no plane could hold up that long, Werewolf. That true, but I mean, if it's in some sort of interdimensional slip or
if it was a time slip and the pilots aged, why didn't the aircraft age?
I don't know. Again,
I mean, it would run eventually. If those guys got 40 years older, say it was 40 years that they aged, start to finish. We don't know the exact age, but we'll say roughly 40 years if these guys were in their 60s. That's 40 years of wear and tear on that aircraft.
I got an answer for you.
What's that?
Aliens.
Hey, who knows? Who knows, man?
I had to get the George hair going, but it didn't quite stick up as much.
Yeah, no one sticks up like his.
That's what mine looked like a few months ago.
Yeah, I got something here for you.
All right, shoot, hit it.
Nope.
Is that going to be our
topic?
Is that going to be one of our new T-shirts?
Yep, I'm going to put that on. That's going to be another merch design.
I am getting one. I am getting one to wear on the show.
Mugs, shirts, the whole shebang.
Embrace the topic. That's funny.
Mark Napier says mercs are hired to keep pirates off ships off the African coast. Yeah, the Somali pirates.
Yeah.
There was a time not all that long ago, before when I was still a cop, that I actually considered signing on for one of those.
Yeah,
the ships that sails along the Somali coast.
I actually did a job interview for one of those maritime security operations.
I knew a guy that had an in, and I was looking at doing it, but the wife was like, "Oh hell no!"
Yeah.
Like, honey, it's great money.
Yeah, they were like they were like, yeah, you're gonna be a security guy and the medic. And I said, okay, so what's the pay? They wanted to pay me like $500 a day. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'll make that much sitting in the emergency room, not getting shot at by pirates.
I had a buddy that was a EMT here in town, and one day he just walked up to me out of the blue. He's like, well, pats me on the shoulders. It's probably the last time I'm going to see you for a while. I'm like, where are you going? He goes, I just took a medic's position on an oil platform off of South Africa, and I'm going to make $300K a year. I'm like, go. I don't blame you. Do you need a sidekick? I'll carry your bag.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that would have been a good gig.
And that was just working on an oil derrick. He said you're out there like 3 months at a time.
Man.
But there.
We just lost Josh.
Oh, good deep thought.
Yep.
Almost out of coffee.
Josh is gone. Naoma, I'll get you my topic and you're
We have a steaming down.
Puddle pirate down. Puddle pirate down.
Oh, there he went.
Oh. All right.
All right. Now the coffee's officially gone.
Yeah, my scotch is too. I'm rather disappointed. He got lost in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah. John Doe's got a point. He said maybe the real topic is the friends we made along the way. Absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe the topic got lost in the Bermuda Triangle too. Who knows?
Josh did.
Yeah.
We lost Josh.
I never can tell, kid. So. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff as far as USOs.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of interest there as far as like with the aircraft, as far as the time slips, the portals, things like that. I mean, there's just so much stuff out there that we can't explain. I mean, again, you can throw the rational scientific explanation, logic, rationale, whatever you want to call it, to it, but there's still things out there that just aren't explainable.
Yeah,
they're just at the end of the day at all.
Or if the government knows they're not sharing.
Yeah, and that's it. That's it. I mean, hell, they just said, "Oh yeah, UFOs are real."
Well, I struggle with the USO concept to begin with, because to imagine the technology required for something to transition from going through the air at high speed to going to the water at high speed, I call that a crash. But these things don't.
Yeah,
and then they go back out.
Yeah, exactly.
Ellen Harrington. No, USO stands for unidentified submerged object.
Yep. It's a UFO in underwater, basically.
Yeah, it's a submerged UFO. John Doe's got a point. Says science is all about attempting to learn about the unexplained, not about dismissing it out of hand. Yeah, there's so many wild theories and speculation about what actually happens in the Bermuda Triangle, and if that was in the newspaper that Doc found about one of those not Corsairs, one of those Avengers reappearing with the crew 40 years older. That is absolutely mind blowing. I mean, it's in an actual newspaper, so there's got to be some credibility to it. Yeah. The fact that it's in the Miami Herald is automatically, a point in its favor. It didn't appear in like the Dublin Dispatch, the National Enquirer.
A 10-minute time slip, or like that one plane that reappeared from the same area that it disappeared from 10 minutes. There's a 10-minute time slip, things like that. That's one thing, but 45 years later, or 75 years later, or whatever. That's quite another thing.
Yeah, that's absolutely just mind blowing. And then the one we talked about earlier, where the aircraft disappeared within sight of the tower. It was coming into land and gone. Yeah. Never found it. What the hell happened to that plane?
Well, not only did it would have disappeared off a radar if they didn't find it, but then somehow they lost its transponder too.
Yeah.
So it vanished.
Like gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when they mentioned the Philadelphia experiment earlier, still had that going through the back of my head. When they mentioned the Philadelphia experiment earlier, that we're definitely going to do a show just on the Philadelphia experiment, because that is such a fascinating topic. If you guys, again, I said the magic word, but if you guys haven't heard anything about the USS Eldridge, yeah, that's a definite topic I want to go over. I think we're going to plan a show around that in the very near future.
Yeah, Project Rainbow.
Yeah. Greenbow, Alabama.
Blues and G Music says, have you ever read Behold a Pale Horse? The author talks about an aircraft carrier sized craft coming up out of the ocean. That would be pretty terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mark says, yeah, I can't get over after all the denial. Suddenly, yep, UFOs, UAPs are real, and we have video.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for a while. I mean, if the military and the U.S. government are suddenly coming forward, what are they preparing us for?
Yeah.
What's going to come to light over the next 2 to 5 years? What's suddenly going to go, oh, look at this. All of this is real.
I'm sorry, Dave, but didn't they just start talking about how they've been speaking with clergy from all over the world to
NASA brought in clersy to
discuss how people would react to that kind of news.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not conspiracy theorists. That's real. That literally just happened. That was reported.
So, what are they preparing for? What are they wanting to tell us? I mean, again, we're veering wildly off topic, but you go back to the first orbit mission around the moon, when they reemerged, and the first words were, Houston, there is a Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell was that code for?
Mm-hmm.
What was on the dark side of the moon that we've never been told? Because the dark side of the moon never faces us.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of this could be interrelated to some degree. Just looking at the history and looking at what people have seen, looking at what people have reported, like you said, even dating back to Columbus in 1492. There's too much data out there to just discount it and say, you're just seeing things.
Well, supposedly back when Obama was in office, Vladimir Putin was pretty much in power then too. Russia supposedly told our government, "You come forward, or we will."
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not surprising we're suddenly getting a lot more information, because God knows what the Russians know, or the Chinese. Any major power, what do they know about alien technology?
Yeah. And I think all of this, like I said, I think all of this is, and I'm trying to stay on topic as best I can, but I think all this is related to some extent. And if aliens have the ability to have this kind of technology, then who's to say they don't utilize portals, interdimensional things like that, to travel back and forth? And who's to say that aircraft don't get pulled into them? Who the hell knows, man? I mean, we're just at this point we're wildly speculating, but there's got to be some bit of truth to it somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
my lung feels great.
Well, it just kind of boggles the mind. I mean, I know that I'm going right back to it, but that if that was true about that Avenger landing, oh my God.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I'd like to research that a little bit more. I mean, I know that was one of the first things I read, but I would like to research that a little bit more, dig into that.
Yeah, I want to read that article that you sent me, and then I'm gonna do a major deep dive on that too, so I can find out.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. That would be interesting. Let me see here. Blue Cruise said, wasn't there a physicist in 1921 that referred to the footage where a group of UFOs followed a U.S. nuclear Navy ship for a long distance at atmospheric gas? I have not heard that.
I had not either.
Interesting.
I do know that a submarine leaving one of the ports on the West Coast reported that a biological contact, the length of the submarine, followed them until they got out to the deep parts of the ocean. Then it vanished.
Wow.
As they were leaving port, it followed them out.
Hmm.
And it was listed as a biological contact. And they said there's no way it was a whale because it never surfaced for air.
Yeah, exactly. And then John Doe said, and well, thinking about it, what better place to hide from an advanced civilization, humans, than underwater? I mean, we've already addressed that. How much underwater is unmapped, uncharted, that we don't even know.
And then we've got those formations off of California, off Malibu, those caves that look like pillars. I mean, there's a lot we're not being told.
Yep, absolutely.
And 100%. I think we need to be prepared for a major admission in the not so distant future. I would bet the next 2 to 5 years, because if they're suddenly coming forward and and it was just out of the blue too. It was like UFOs aren't real. Oh yeah, they're real. Here they are. Here's footage.
By the way,
just absolutely denied it, and then just one day it's like a switch flipped.
And honestly,
talking about it,
I'd be like Clark off of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I wouldn't be any more surprised if I woke up tomorrow morning with my head saw on the carpet. It really would not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Because I mean, how much crap have we been fed over the last 50 years, 60 years, or longer, 100 years, almost 80 years, and now they're like, oh yeah, they're real. No big deal.
Even looking back at the Roswell incident, when it first happened, the Army intelligence officer on scene told the local newspaper, "Yes, it's an alien craft. We don't have any other information to release at this time. It's a craft of alien origin. We don't know what it is. We'll have a press conference later." And they basically pushed them back. So the report goes out on the newspaper. The Army has admitted this is an alien aircraft. And then suddenly it was Project Mogul. Oh, it was a weather balloon. Nope.
No. Hey, what are you doing?
Alien.
Yeah.
Nope.
It was Operation Backpedal at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Tried to claim it was Project Mogul, which were weather balloons. Yeah, that was not a weather balloon they found.
No.
Nope.
Interesting stuff.
Ellen Harrington says, "May we please have a show topic about the work of Dr. Stephen Greer?" I will look into researching that, and we can probably do that at some point in the near future. That's a good point. That's a good one to look into. Appreciate you suggesting that, and we will definitely be doing that. Also, if you guys are on the Discord, there is like a section on the Discord where it's called what is it, the cork board, or the Josh, what is it? The cork board. Basically, it's where if you've got ideas for shows, you can suggest them in there. We're also looking for people that might be able to help out, volunteers to help out with like the newsletter and things like that. So if you're interested in that, just go to the corkboard section on the Discord. If you're not a member of the Discord, Josh, can you throw that up there?
Yes, I can. Give me 2 shakes. And I was going to say too, there's been a lot more Discord activity over the last week or so, and I've been very happy to see that a lot of people have been interacting quite a bit with Discord. And I love it.
Yeah, I put the new cover on Discord. I put it up on the Patreon. Well, quick call to arms, folks. If you guys are new to the show or you just joined us, please hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that little bell icon down there so it'll give you alerts whenever we go live. And share the video. If you're enjoying the content, please share the video, or check out the little button at the bottom of the screen that says join. And that will get you access to not only some cool new emojis and little icons. It will also get you access to videos that we will be posting ahead of time before they go out on regular YouTube. So you'll have access to content before it appears in the rest of the channel.
I hate how the emojis don't show up on our chat here.
Yeah,
they do show up in YouTube, but a Restream can't parse it because it's a custom image to YouTube. So it's like, here's the text version.
Yeah, Restream's like, I got nothing. Marshall Sirota says, DA, there's an interview with Greer on Art Bell and with Danica Patrick. I will check that out.
Interesting.
Marshall, if you have a link to that particular show, if you'll send that to me in my email, daroberts@daroberts.net, I would like to check that out if you have the actual link. If you don't worry about it. I can hunt it up, but it would just, if you already have the link and know where it's at, it'd be faster if you sent me the link. Derek Buckle says 1940 something subscribers. Yeah, something about that. What was that? What was that, Josh? We were saying when we hit 2,000. Was there something about that?
Yeah, Steve was going to shave his head.
Yeah, Steve's going to shave off one eyebrow.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
now,
whatever.
We are going to give away a signed edition.
Yeah, we are.
Of one of the books. I've got several on hand, but this is one of the print editions of Odin's Call. I've got Lakeview Man, The Nightmare Hunter, and Ragnarok Rising, The Awakening, but I can order others in. So when we hit 2,000, and we are 60 away, folks, when we hit 2,000, I will be giving away, and we'll do it just like we do the other giveaways here on the show. We'll do a giveaway. It'll be the big giveaway of the night. But we will definitely give away an autographed edition, and I will mail it straight to you. I'll fill it out anyway. I'll sign it over to you any way you would like. So whoever wins that book, you can let me know what you would like, how you would like it made out. Speaking of giveaways, why don't we do one, Josh?
Let me pull up good old our buddy Drunkbot here.
Drunkbot.
Offensive.
While I'm pulling that up, if you guys didn't notice, I did post a link in chat to the light colored merchandise for Embrace the Topic. Already up.
Woohoo!
I will be working on a dark version of that here shortly for dark colored shirts and stuff.
Yeah,
and
I want the darker version.
It is a limited merch panel compared to most of the stuff because, I just did stickers, t-shirts, and like a hoodie and a mug. I kept it fairly simple.
Hey, DA,
awesome.
if you do a hard a print version of the Curse of the Wendigo, I'll put in there. I'll sign it and say, "Not the snowmobile."
Hold on, folks. I'm still trying to pull up Nightbot. I've got a couple things going on, so it is not tracking chat just yet. So it is now running. So guys, feel free to pop up in chat if you've been just kind of lurking and watching, which is fine. But if you want to be a part of the giveaway, go ahead and jump on in. DA, could we throw out another small incentive if we can hit that tonight?
Hit the 2,000 tonight?
Yeah.
Sure.
Man, really put these people into action.
Well, I think a lot of the people that are listening are already subscribed, but it would be nice to hit that. If we could hit it tonight, trying to think.
If we can hit that tonight from the All Tower Media standpoint, I will do a giveaway where we'll put you into the game without being a part of the Kickstarter. We'll do a likeness, and if you're comfortable and we're able to, we'll also include your voice.
That's pretty cool.
If we can hit it tonight, I'll do a random giveaway to put someone in game.
Yes. Well, that means I'm going to have to watch the subs. I will.
There's a way to pull up a live number. Like if you go into your control panel, you can actually. There's a link where you can actually view it live. It'll say "View these numbers live."
I have no idea how.
I can pull it up.
Okay, you do that. Because I don't know how to do it.
But Nightbot is running.
Awesome.
Hey, that's okay. If you're already subscribed, this is where you share. Send it to friends. Say, you know what? Even if you can't watch right now, just hit that subscribe button real quick, and we'll push that number tonight. Spam it to all your friends.
And Josh, you and I still need to get together. I was down with the flu-rona.
That's all right. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Yeah, we need to get together and work on that stuff that you and I were talking about.
Yeah. We still got to. Before I can write the script for that, we actually have to complete kind of what we want it to visually look like while we build the script. So it's going to be a hot minute before we get to that. But we'll get you.
Can you show the mountain video?
Oh, I can actually. Give me 1 second. I'm pulling up the dashboard to get the live subs.
Whew. Blue Cruise has a good point. He says an underwater UFO can hide deep enough inside an ocean-based rock canyon to create a hunter's bluff, giving them the ability to observe, abduct, and experiment on a large human population. Yeah, and look how much of the population is concentrated in that Bermuda Triangle area. There's a lot of people to choose from.
Yep.
That's not terrifying at all.
All right. I got live subs pulled up. I got giveaways running. Let me go download the YouTube video.
After y'all do that, I'm about to have to pee on the fire and call in the dogs, man. I'm fading.
You doing all right, Doc?
Yeah, I'm making it all right. I just gotta have to get to bed here shortly and go lay down with that good looking blonde headed thing.
Sorry guys, I'm trying to grab that video for you now.
Oh damn it, Josh. Get them panties off your head.
Damn it, boy.
Damn it, Bobby.
Quit doing that. Quit doing that. You're scaring Ladybird.
Tracy Bennett says the Alaskan Triangle was about underwater UFOs today. I've got to go back and catch that.
It was.
Have to watch that after the...
It was a really good show, man. They had a couple of them on.
Let's see where.
Anthony has a good one. Ask the guys what they think about the Wild Hunt logo on a rifle.
Yeah, I'm looking for the picture. I didn't have it uploaded to the show.
That will be hot.
I know I've got the image in my email. I just can't find it.
See, I already been talking about if I ever get the money to buy one of those Guncrafter Industries 50 GIs, I was going to get custom grips on it with the Wild Hunt logo.
Have you seen that they got a +3 extension on that thing now for a 9+1 capacity?
Damn.
Yes, sir.
Definitely do a little more damage than the usual 6.
Yes, sir. So you got 9+1, 10 rounds of good news.
And painful wrist.
Fact. Lord have mercy.
See if I can bring this up real fast.
Yeah, Mark Napier has a good one too. Adding to that stuff that Blue Cruise was talking about. Abductees can be written off as accidents in the ocean.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Well, we're still at 1940, so got to push if you guys want that extra bonus. Let's see. I got the video loading. And then we want to do the giveaway before or after I show the video.
Let's do the video first. Give everybody time to get into the chat. I mean, the video is not that long.
No, it's not. All right, I will go. Oh, it's processing now. It's still uploading. So, guys, make sure if you guys want to take a part of the giveaway, make sure you're typing in chat, even if it's just something random or saying hi, where you from, how's your mama, all that good stuff.
Your mama.
How's your mama and them and the dogs? Yeah, I won't break out my Southern Mississippi accent, Josh. Too bad.
Why not?
It won't be too bad.
Oh, let's see here. As soon as it's done processing, good old Restream taking a hot second.
Shocker. Restream being slow? Come on. What are you talking
You know what though? Out of everything we've used, we've pretty much tried it all. Restream has been worth the extra money.
Yes, it has.
I mean, we won't argue the point that we did get a really nice discount code for a year, but it's been worth it. I liked it. I like it a lot. A lot. Okay, guys. This is a render video sent over to some people on Discord may have already seen this. Adam was just testing out some lighting features, flashlights, some fluorescent lights in the watchtower. We have completely started over on a new engine, and it's been so worth it. So here's a quick little render preview of the watchtower and the mountain. All right.
Dude, that detail looks amazing, man.
I was just waiting for a Bigfoot to jump out like any time.
Okay, so it was causing me some anxiety too. I was like,
it's gonna jump out.
I also was waiting for something to jump out, and knowing Adam, I'm really, really surprised he did not include something to jump out. But what really got me,
so freaking cool.
The first message I sent him was like, "Wow, that is amazing! Put some freaking handrails on those steps, man! I'm freaking out."
Yeah, that gave me a little anxiety. I'm like, "There's no rail! There's no rail! You're gonna fall!"
That looks really good, bro.
Yeah, it does.
Also,
the level of detail is beautiful.
Something we're going to be doing, starting off once a month. It may increase to more than that, but one Saturday a month, I'm going to start doing a show and I'm going to have DA on when he's available. I'm going to have Matt on when he's available. But Saturday before this show, I'm going to do a dev update on the game, 15 to 30 minutes long tops, answer a few questions, show some things off, and give you guys a roadmap. Since we're kind of now getting into some nitty gritty, exactly no rail. That's almost as scary as something coming out and jumping at you.
I was fully expecting something to reach out of one of those trees.
Yeah,
because he's done that to me before. Hey, I did this lighting render. You want to check it out? I'm like, cool. Oh, there's a goddamn dog man
that one early render he did where it runs behind you when you're walking down the trail. That would
I almost had to clean myself. Yeah. Yep.
That's gonna be so good.
But so this has been running for a minute. I don't want to lose the people that are on it, so let's go ahead and run the giveaway real quick because it has that 15 minutes.
We're gonna do a $5 Amazon gift card. You can good for anything on Amazon, which is coincidentally just enough to pick up the Kindle version of the new book when it drops, which will more than likely be in the next few days. So be watching for Lakeview Man, Beast of Blanc Road. In case you needed a reminder.
Oh, that looks so good.
Yeah,
Werewolf
I'm pretty excited about that.
5674 has won.
All right, Werewolf, send me an email at daroberts@daroberts.net, and I will send that code to you.
That is awesome. Congratulations, Werewolf.
Congratulations, man.
That's awesome.
I have the codes pulled up right now, and they are good to go whenever you're ready. So send me an email at daroberts@daroberts.net. Let me put that up there so you can look at it. Right there. It's D.A. Roberts at daroberts.net, and I will send that code to you right away. Speaking of codes, we have a code from Dark Angel Medical as well. Let's run our Dark Angel commercial, folks. And just again, to give that a quick introduction, Doc is not only the purveyor of Dark Angel Medical, he's also a brother of mine that I've known for a long time. He's contributed so much to these books over the years, helping me with the medical aspects, with the wounds that are treated, and he's just done a hell of a lot of help and over this. And I carried a Dark Angel Medical kit from a good chunk of my law enforcement career, and I can't imagine trusting my life to another kit. Whether you need a kit basically like this one that's referred to as the Ouch Pouch, I carried that one on my belt forever, still carry it. That'll handle your little needs, and I've got a tourniquet on that, all the way up to the then we've got a bigger kit. This is the dark kit, and I don't know what I did with my other one. I don't see my other kit.
I appreciate you, brother. I'm humbled.
No problem. But the Dark Angel has what they call the Kit for Life guarantee. If you use your kit to save a life, even your own, let Doc know, and they will resupply that kit for free. And that's the Kit for Life guarantee. Here's the commercial.
Hey everybody, this is Terry Pocket Doc Davis from Dark Angel Medical, and you are listening to DA Ex Machina with D.A. Roberts. You may recognize me or some of my products from Dark Angel Medical in some of the Apex Predator, Lakeview Man, and Wild Hunt books, and you can get those products at www.darkangelmedical.com, along with training classes on how to use those products and save a life. Shoot us an email at info@darkangelmedical.com and be the difference.
And if you look here at the bottom of the screen, if you go to darkangelmedical.com and use discount code CRYPTID25 for 25% off your order. And if you order one of the new spear kits, make sure in the comments section you put Team Odin, and you'll get the Team Odin rocker that goes on the spear kit. I cannot find mine. I don't know what I did with it. Otherwise, I'd show it off.
Here you go. Hold on a second.
Got you.
There we go. Notice the Team Odin rocker on that. That is just plain awesome.
Oh, mercy. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Anytime.
I've been honored to be part of the journey. It's been a hell of a ride. That's for sure.
Well, we've come a long way in the last 10 years, and I want to see where the next 10 take us.
Amen to that, man. Amen to that. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate y'all's time tonight. I'm gonna have to bow out humbly and regrettably, but I gotta keep my strength up and get to bed. I got a lot of work to do this next week, so
get some rest, man.
I will see y'all, hopefully, Lord willing, the creeks don't rise Wednesday night.
All right, brother, you be safe, and my love to Angie. And
thank you, brother.
I'm glad she's on the mend, and glad you're feeling better. And you guys be safe. If you need anything, just give me a holler, brother.
Will do, brother. I love you, man. Y'all have a good night.
You too, brother.
All right.
Good night, Carrie.
All right.
Good night,
Later, guys. Night.
Good night. Well, I just got the email from Werewolf. I am going to send that out right now before I forget. And we will have that one already taken care of. Do we want to do another giveaway?
Sure. I have thought you might. I kept it running.
All right. Werewolf, that just got sent out. On this one, I think for this one, I am going to leave that up to whoever wins. They can choose between a audio code for any of the following books. For Cold Hunger, which I co-wrote with Kat Dahman, Lakeview Man, Odin's Call, or Ragnarok Rising: The Awakening. You can choose from any of those four. Also, I have some news on the audio. Cam Buckner, who is not doing the narrations for the Codename Wild Hunt books, is also doing the Apex Predator books. Codename Wild Hunt, Curse of the Wendigo, should be done later this week, like by the next Friday or Saturday. Cam said he should have it done by the end of next week and uploaded to Amazon, which usually takes about 15 days. But he said he's also working on Codename Wild Hunt, Operation Blood Eagle. I just spaced out on my own book title. But he said he should have Operation Blood Eagle done within a week or two of the other one. So in the next month, we should have 2 more audios dropping. Bill Sloan has won the giveaway.
Yep.
All right. Bill, my email address is daroberts@daroberts.com.
Or .net.
.net, I'm sorry. daroberts@daroberts.net. You'll shoot me an email and specify whether you want Cold Hunger, Lakeview Man, Codename Wild Hunt, Odin's Call, or Ragnarok Rising the Awakening. I have codes for all 4. Trying to catch up with the comments.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep an eye on him and doing like 12 other things.
Did we lose Bill? I haven't seen him comment.
He's commented in the last 15 minutes.
Well,
what do you want to do?
I don't see him commenting. We'll
spin it up again, or
no.
Bill, go ahead and pipe up in chat if you're still here, man.
Yeah, there he is. He's still here.
Hey, there he is.
Excuse me.
So, Bill, shoot me an email at daroberts@daroberts.net. And again, specify which code you would like. Be that Cold Hunger, Lakeview Man 1, Codename Wild Hunt, Odin's Call, or Ragnarok Rising the Awakening. I have codes for all 4. Just let me know which one you want, and I'll send that right out.
Excuse me.
So, I don't know if you notice, my posters are no longer behind me. There's now a window.
Yeah, I noticed you'd moved around a little bit.
Holy cow. So first off, I have a corner desk. So does my my fiance, who sits
I've got one as well.
That was an ordeal. They're reversible. I have a long end and a short end. They're designed to kind of flip orientation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Apparently, in order to do so, you have to completely disassemble the entire desk. It's not as simple of just take one end off and kind of rotate it. No, you got to move legs over to the other side. So now my desk is not put back together correctly because it has like this bar, where you can like rest your feet and stuff. On the short end, that bar is on this side and not on the other where it's supposed to be because I didn't pay attention. So it's standing and it's holding my material up. It's fine.
I've got a few extra bolts, but hey, what the hell?
Looks like Werewolf's heading out.
Bill said, if you want to redraw, I'm fine with that. Now, Bill, I've got plenty of codes. We might even give away a third draw. But Bill, go ahead and email me. I'm more than happy to give you the code, bud. And you want to do a third? I don't mind.
That's your codes, man. I can spin up a third one. Here we go.
All right, let's spin up a third one. We'll give away another code.
Ellen,
awesome. Ellen Harrington has won the giveaway. Ellen, if you'll contact me at that email address, daroberts@daroberts.net, and specify which book you want, be that Cold Hunger, Lakeview Man, Codename Wild Hunt, Odin's Call, or Ragnarok Rising the Awakening, and I'll send that code right out to you.
Alrighty, gentlemen.
Says, what?
I hate to bug out here, but I am fading fast, and I hear the dogs getting restless. But it has been a pleasure as always, and I'm looking forward to if and when we do that Project Rainbow show with the Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah.
See where that's going to go. I've been studying that for years. I
think we'll plan that for next. We'll do the Philadelphia experiment next Saturday night. I've already got a show planned for Wednesday, and I was looking at a guest for the next show on that, but I think I'll go ahead and save that one and book them for another time. We'll do the Philadelphia experiment next Saturday night. This coming Wednesday, I'll have Connor Flynn, also known as Bigfoot Anon or Bigfoot Anonymous. He's going to be on the show talking about his Bigfoot research in the Florida Panhandle, into Skunk Ape, and his travels to a lot of different places where he's been looking for cryptids. And it's going to be a great night. So we'll have some firsthand Bigfoot encounters and research that's been done, plus hopefully pictures, because he's going to be joining us and talking about a lot of the stuff he's done down in the Florida Panhandle.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Well, good night, gentlemen. Good night, stream. It's been a pleasure as always. It's kind of cool to hang out with you guys every Saturday night.
Well, we love having it. And, well, next Saturday we'll do that Philadelphia experiment, man. That one's going to be awesome.
I love it. Bye-bye.
Later, brother. You be safe.
Hey, good night, Steve. Get some rest, bud.
Love you, brother.
Good night. Love you guys.
See you, man. Whew.
And then there were two.
Bill just texted me. I'm not familiar with the Ragnarok series, so I'd like that code. Okay. Let me open that file.
Bill, warning. Pandora's box. You open that, you're going to want the whole saga, man. It gets you from the word go. I remember cracking it open early on. I think you sent me a PDF and I ended up buying it like a week later, but I remember reading the first like half of the first chapter and I was like, I remember, this is a little TMI, but it's kind of a funny story. I started reading it. I had my tablet with me and I was, doing the important paperwork. And I'm sitting here and I'm reading. I was probably in the bathroom for 2.5 hours before someone knocked on the door and goes, "You still alive?" I said, "Yeah, I'm reading a damn book. Leave me alone."
Ellen sent me an email, says, "May I please have the Amazon code? Which book would you like?" There's four to choose from. There's the book I co-wrote with Kat Dahman. It's called Cold Hunger. It's about a Wendigo. There's Lakeview Man, which is a Bigfoot story. There's Codename Wild Hunt Odin's Call, which is another Bigfoot story with a military group. And then there's Ragnarok Rising Awakening, which is book 1 of my zombie series. So let me know which one you want, and I'll be happy to send you whichever code you like. But you said please send the Amazon code. I need to know which one you want.
And it's the Amazon Audible audiobook code.
Derek Buckle says, "DA, where does the Nightmare Hunter fit into the different series?" The Nightmare Hunter is definitely fitting into the other series. In fact, the book I'm just starting now, I just started it last night. As a couple people can already tell you, I've sent a couple of people little samples. But the new book is going to be new. The new project is Apex Predator Dark Moon. It's going to take place in LBL, in the Land Between the Lakes, if you're not familiar with that. It's going to take place in LBL, and you will see at least one of the characters from the Nightmare Hunter show up in that book. I'm not going to say which one. I'll let you guys figure that out. But definitely, you're going to see one of the characters. So the Nightmare Hunter series does fit in with the rest of the series, because if you've read Nightmare Hunter, Team Odin shows up in it. So it definitely connects.
Good night, Sal. And yeah, I did see that come through, Sal. I'll check it out here in a little bit.
Well, Sal says he's heading off to bed. Good night, Sal. See you Wednesday, brother.
You're like the drug dealer of books. You always get us hooked on great literature.
Well, the one that I'm about to release, Lakeview Man, Beast of Blunk Road, will be book number 25. The night I finished it, which was just a few nights ago, the night I finished it, I went into the kitchen, called everybody into the living room. I got out the good wine glasses and I poured a glass for everybody and handed them out. And they're like, "What's the occasion?" I wouldn't even tell them why I was calling them into the living room. And I handed out glasses to everybody and I held them up and I said, "This is a milestone." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I said, "This is number 25. That is a huge milestone for me. I mean, my 25th book is about to drop, and I'm so ecstatic, and I'm honored that you guys have been with us on this journey, and you guys are reading the books. But yeah, it to me, it was a very emotional moment to realize I'm about to drop number 25, and I have no plans to stop anytime soon.
Heck yeah.
Derek Buckle says, "Is it Apex or Team Wild Hunt?" It's what are you referring?
I'm not sure.
The new book. The new book is Lakeview Man. It's a Lakeview Man series. You will see a couple of the characters from Wild Hunt in it, but it won't be until later in the book. But you will see a lot of familiar faces.
Like paperbacks, I now have 13 of DA's books.
Woohoo!
Oh, you got 12 more to go. By the time you get the other 11, the 12th one you need will be out.
I'm still laughing about that, cracking up about that drug dealer comment. That's funny.
Lewis says Mecca nearly back. I would assume back nearly in the 80s. I think I remember seeing a movie about Philadelphia had to do with radar. Yeah, it's a weird. Weren't they? Isn't like the theory behind it is they were trying to teleport the ship or something, and guys got stuck in the walls and stuff like that.
Yeah. Had Michael Pere and a couple other. Ellen, the codes I'm going to send you are audibles, or will be audiobook codes. Well, cut the code. I just got the email, says this will be the first of my books she's read or heard. Well, check your email. I'm going to be sending you a little bit of a surprise.
Well, there you go. He got you taken care of there.
I can type.
Oh, Bill, you are a valued member of the community. We love all our cryptid crew here. No matter, trust me, you know what? You can't be worse than DA and Matt on technology, so you're good.
Yeah, I kind of suck when it comes to technology.
Had to close the window, getting cold in the office. Oh. Now I was giving Matt crap the other day. He struggles sometimes. He knows tech, but like sometimes connections to certain things, or I just assume he's tracking. He's like, I can't figure it out. I go, okay, boomer. I never use that terminology towards someone of that particular generation, but I always say it to Roper just because it irritates the snot out of him.
Oh, I will be with you just a second. Sorry, Josh.
No, you're good. I'm watching chat here. John Doe says the Philadelphia experiment is, to my knowledge, rather fictionalized with certain things not lining up. That's the weird thing. And whether it's real or not, if it's
Hollywood, it's going to be fictionalized.
Right. But the interesting thing is, even assume that it's real, a lot of things aren't going to line up because they're going to, retellings of the story, certain things hidden. It's.
John Doe wants to know when's the movie deal. God, I wish.
We're hoping people take notice.
That would be awesome.
Derek
I could keep Netflix busy for a while with my franchises.
DA said, "Do you ever get your air fryer?"
No, I have not yet. We were trying to. Well, we just got the vehicle that replaced the one we lost in November, and Monday I've got to pay the taxes on it, which is going to be a big bite out of my ass. So pretty much all purchases have been frozen until we pay the taxes.
And John, you're not wrong. It very well could be fake, fictionalized, and just weird experiment gone wrong and then blown out of proportion. And it might have been something simple that wasn't even weird, and someone ran with it and told a weird story. Hey, there you go. Bringing people back into the fold.
And had another one comment very similar.
Heck yeah,
that's awesome. I mean, I can't ask for a better compliment than that. I really can't.
I love audiobooks, and I'm glad your books are hitting audio. And based on my current job, I prefer them because of time. But man, I remember, like I said, reading Ragnarok the first time, and I want to get back to reading the books. I have more on Kindle than I have on my shelf. and more on, so I definitely want to order more of the physical ones and fill my shelf up.
Well, Ellen told me in the email that this would be her first experience with one of my books. So I sent her 2 codes. I sent her Ragnarok Rising, The Awakening, and Lakeview Man to really kind of get her kickstarted into multiple series. So and I hope you enjoy them.
I have to say this, DA probably won't, but see, since I'm not the creator or the person who did the audiobook, I can say this. Don't judge the book on the narrator. And that goes for any book you listen on Audible. Don't judge the book on the narrator. That's all I'm going to say. Leave it at that.
Yeah, the first books, the Ragnarok Rising, The Awakening, the narrator could have been a lot better. However, it will still get you involved in the story.
Absolutely. That is 100% true. Are mermaids real?
There's a lot of speculation on that. There was the History Channel did a mock documentary, if I could speak English, called Mermaids, The Body Found, which I thought was straight up legit. When I was watching, I'm like, this is a freaking documentary. I didn't know until the end that it was fictionalized. It was just done as kind of a cool story, but it was pretty compelling. And I didn't realize that they were actually putting real theories out there in this fake documentary. There's a theory that's called the aquatic ape theory, and it could possibly explain why there are mermaids. Supposedly, about the time humans started diverging from the ape lineage, there were coastal apes who began getting more and more of their diet from the ocean. And as they would dive farther and farther out, they started adapting to hold their breath longer. And eventually, over generations, they started growing like webbed hands and webbed feet. And supposedly that's one theory on where mermaids came from. It's called the aquatic ape theory.
Makes sense.
It's something I wouldn't mind delving into on more of a more lengthy basis. But it would be pretty interesting to really dig into that. Mark Napier says, do you try writing a screenplay? I don't know the first thing about writing a screenplay. I would.
It's different from writing a novel.
Yes, it's very different from novel writing. However, having said that, if anybody knows anybody over at Netflix or HBO or something and they would like to see one, I would definitely try my hand at it.
Hulu and Prime seem like good choices to do something like your books. I know Netflix is kind of the solid choice, but
Ellen Harrington says narrators can kill a book for me. Well, I'll tell you what, the Lakeview Man narrator, Eli, is very good. I didn't have a choice on the narrator because it was through my old publisher on Ragnarok Rising, The Awakening. If you like the story but don't care for the narrator, let me know, and I would be more than happy to send you a code for a Kindle edition of the book.
She also said, she totally believed the mockumentary. You were watching one too that you were hooked on until you found out later. Was it the mermaid one or was it a different one?
I think it was the mermaid one.
You were like, holy crap. And then you were like, God damn it.
Yeah, I was a little pissed when I found out it was fake. Papa Bear says, I think it is believable there are people in the Pacific who can walk on the bottom of the ocean, have increased their breath holding over the years. Adaptations happen. In the course of human evolution, you can look at different parts of the world and see adaptations are different in different climates. People that were born and their families for generations lived in the desert are far more adapted to surviving the heat than, say, some jackass from the Midwest like me. And then you've got the Japanese pearl divers who could hold their breath for 3 to 4 minutes. That's just astounding, and dive to depths that would probably blow my eardrums. Genetic adaptations happen. And the more we push ourselves out into more hostile environments and do it over a period of time, those can be passed on to the next generations.
Yeah. She also said that she felt foolish for talking to several people about it. But the way they do those, they did some on, I think they did one on dragons. And they did another one too. They've done a couple, and they do very high production with, you know, people talking about the theories. It really catches you as like an actual thing.
I was really upset when I found out Mermaids the Body Found was fake, because I bought into it. I mean, like, I started. I saw it was going to be. I saw it being advertised, and I thought, "Oh, this is going to be cool as hell." And then I started watching the documentary, and I'm like, "This is freaking awesome." And then when I found out it was fake, I was so pissed. I mean,
it's like John Doe did one called The Great Martian War. That actually be really cool to watch, knowing it's a mockumentary. It'd still be neat to see.
I would watch it even knowing it's a mockumentary. But yeah, I took the bait on that Mermaid's Body Found. I set the hook on that one. Yeah, I was not happy when I found out it was fake. I was like, "You sons of..." I was cussing them. It made me almost as mad as when you find somebody that has completely hoaxed an obvious Bigfoot video. Like one popped up on my YouTube channel, like real live footage of a Bigfoot, and it's some jackass in a $4 costume from Party City running up and scaring a couple of kids, and it's all fake. You know, they're all fake. And when they post it as being real footage, it just absolutely pisses me off when it's such ham-fisted, obvious fake footage. And I know some people find that shit funny. I don't, because every video that some jackass puts out there that's fake destroys credibility for the few that do get put out that are real. Blue Cruise says, "I wonder if the mockumentary Mermaids the Body Found was an example of the CIA's Project Mockingbird to see how the viewing audience reacts to the possibility of the existence of real mermaids." Could be.
Maybe.
Yeah, but the aquatic ape theory actually is a legit theory. There's paleontologists believe that some apes actually began adapting to life in the ocean, and if so, it could explain, you know, it could explain the whole theory behind the mermaid thing. And some people call it manatees, say that the sailors were seeing manatees, but I'm gonna say I would have to be an awful lonely sailor to think a manatee was attractive.
Oh, I mean, look at that face.
That's like 2 a.m. beer goggles attractive. Like, oh
yeah, you're not going to mistake a sea cow for a beautiful siren. I don't care how drunk you are. It's just not going to happen. Derek, yeah.
Yeah, he says, "Are there any plans for you to return to Coast anytime this year?" The episode I did, the host said, Richard Surrett, I was doing the weekend edition, said that he wanted to have me back on. So if they invite me on, I will definitely go. But you know, it's one of those things. It's kind of invitation only. You don't just go, "Hey, put me on the show." Well, at least, you know, guys in my status don't. You know, somebody like Stephen King could go, "I want to do an episode of Coast to Coast," and they would fall all over themselves to get him on there. But me, I got to wait for an invitation. Although, if anybody's listening from Coast to Coast, I would love to do the show again. It was freaking awesome.
Bill says, "I blame these mockumentary on the Blair Witch Project. It was great marketing, was enough to get people looked." I'll tell you, when that came out, I was in it. I was like, "Oh my God, this is crazy. These people died." And I can't remember. I was so angry when I found out that it wasn't a real movie.
Esther Eston says, "Any validity to the Seychelles Lagoon sightings?" I've seen the footage on that, and it looks pretty realistic. I mean, I'm not a video expert by any stretch of the word, but to me, it looks pretty realistic. So for my purposes, I would say I think it's legit, but that's just me. Again, I'm no expert, and I do not claim to be an expert on any subject when it comes to cryptids or anything else. In fact, I don't claim to be an expert on anything. But the only thing I know, well, I would say I'd be an expert on myself, but my wife knows more about me than I probably do. I'm getting to the age where I'm starting to forget crap.
I had a quick thought. You know, people have brought up doing something like the Fae, and you know, you want to do mermaids, some of these more fringe, you know, topics. Yeah. That might be good content for the Wild Hunt tier on YouTube. You know, eventually you come out on the main playlist. That'd be good content to drop for members.
Well, the first video that I'm going to put up for content for the people that have joined, the first video I'm going to put up is, I'm hoping, well, we've got predicted a winter weather advisory for next week, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're supposed to have snow. And hopefully it doesn't get bad, because Missouri really, in the last 10 years, we haven't gotten that much snow. What we get is ice.
Yeah.
And that makes it very hazardous. But next weekend, like a week from today, if the weather is not crap, I want to go back down and shoot a longer video at Blunk Road. I want to go down there and get some footage right at dusk. So that would be the first video we put into the private videos. John Joe says, you might not want to hear what I have to say about certain subjects. And then he continues to say, but I mean, it's better than continue on believing something false. I'm more than happy to hear it. I mean, I'm the kind of guy that if I see footage of something, or I hear a story about something, if there's a way to debunk it, I'm cool with it. I'm completely cool with it being debunked. I would much rather find out something isn't real than to continue to promote it as being true. The only video footage I can say with any veracity that I know it's 100% authentic is the video footage we took down at Joe Bald, because I was there. We didn't monkey with that footage in any way, shape, or form. Josh and Adam are the only two that have enhanced any images out of that. We took that footage ourselves. It was not staged. There was nothing out there. We were not down there trying to film.
We didn't even know anything about it for
well like over a year until Dream saw it. That's the only video footage I can say with any veracity that it's 100% legit, because I was there.
And we still don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
We just know it's weird. And you can ask DA. There'll be a lot of times he might post something like on his page and be like, yeah, this is kind of weird. And it'll be like 15 minutes later, be like, no, man, that's straight up horse manure.
Yeah.
Because that's how I am too. I go for the debunk first. I believe in the paranormal. I believe in Dogman. I believe in Bigfoot. But my first go-to is either it's fake or misidentification. And then I prove that, because that is much easier to prove.
Yeah, if we can explain it away, we will. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to pull up an image here, and I'll start with this one. We can't explain this. We went over to that very tree, and whatever that was in the ballpark of 9 feet off the ground. There's a little closer image, and then you'll get a little bit better. And this one, you can start to see details of ears and a nose. And in this one, you can actually see its hand on the tree that looks like claws. I can't say 100% that I know what that is. What do I suspect it is? I think it's a dogman. I really do. But we can't prove that. We didn't see it at the time. We only saw it, on the video a year later when someone else pointed it out. I did not go to that park to try to capture footage of a cryptid. I went there to shoot a promo video for Lakeview Man when I was writing the first Lakeview Man story. We didn't even know we'd captured anything on footage, and that footage was shot on a cell phone. If I'd have been out there looking for a cryptid, I would have been using a better camera.
Yeah.
All that video was intended to be was a promo video to show off Joe Bald, how creepy it looks at night. And that was going to be the part of the setting for Lakeview Man. That was all our intent was. A year later, when it was pointed out there was something behind one of those trees, it was like somebody dumped ice water down my back. When Josh sent me the first images, I was like, holy shit. And it was like 30 yards from us.
All Dream said was, it looks like something moves behind that tree. He goes, did you guys see that? And no one could see it. Like, I didn't even see it. You guys are like, I don't see what you're talking about.
I didn't see it when he pointed it out. I can see it now because I know what I'm looking for.
Right.
And then when I first watched that video, I'm like, bullshit, there's nothing there.
Then I pulled it up on my computer monitor and zoomed the video into just that portion. And then I saw that shadow and I'm like, oh, there's something here.
Yeah, there were no tree branches there or bushes that it could have been. We've been back to the area, and whatever that was 8.5 to 9 feet off the ground. Josh, you stood right next to that tree when we shot the second video down there. And
I've looked at those videos and images so many times that I instantly recognized the tree. Just from I was able to position myself from where Steve was standing, and then going to that tree, and the ones that I knew were in front of it. You know what I mean? I could tell how high it was.
Mark's absolutely right. Says, I'm pretty sure if you had seen it, if it was somebody hoaxing, hoaxing you, they would have probably been full of holes. Yeah, I was still a cop at the time, and I was carrying a pistol. I was carrying a loaded Glock 17 with 3 extra magazines on my belt. So if somebody had jumped out with a furry costume trying to scare us, I'd have shot him. I would have straight up shot him. Steve was carrying. Steve that was on earlier, Steve Monrotis, he was actually the one filming, and I was in front of the camera. If that'd been somebody out there in a suit trying to scare us, that was a very dangerous thing to do because both of us were armed. I was still a cop at the time. Yeah, we did not see anybody. There's eye shine in numerous places on that video, but eye shine in the woods in Missouri is nothing uncommon. But the placement of it's a little weird sometimes.
And see, that's where he and I kind of differ. Like, I look at where they say they see eye shine, and I, knowing where the lake is, I chalk that up to light reflection off the lake. I chalk it up to maybe a possum or something in the tree.
Yeah.
You know, that's just who I am. I'm like, I got to go with the most reasonable explanation. But when I see that, when I see that shadow, though, or that movement, I can't explain that.
Yeah, neither can I. Eye shine, the technical term for eye shine is tapetum lucidum. And humans don't do it. It's the reflection.
We're one of the few animals.
Yeah, we're one of the few animals that don't have eye shine. You get footage of eye shine. It could literally be anything, unless you can verify, like after seeing the creature itself, whatever it is, be it raccoon, be it Bigfoot, whatever it is. Unless you get a look at whatever's creating the eye shine, it'll throw you. Those deer have freaked me out in the woods. I'd be walking around and hit eyes, and they're just looking right at you, and you're like, "Oh my God! Oh frick, it's a deer." But eye shine will make you jumpy in the woods. We didn't see what was making the eye shine. Could have been anything. That movement is what we couldn't explain.
Yeah. Ellen wanted to see some of the photos again real quick.
Sure.
This is one of my favorites because while it's super blurry,
you get
more definition and depth. Yeah, you can see the shoulder behind the head. You can see possible ears, and the claws are extremely unmistakable. I showed this to someone. I'm like, "Do you see the hand?" They're like, "I don't see anything but blobs." And I'm like, "I get that, but if you look at there's 4 fingers because the thumb would be behind the tree."
Yep. And again, I wish to God I had been filming this with a better camera. This was just filmed on my cell phone. We didn't expect to see anything. We were filming a promo for Lakeview Man. That's all we were doing. I really wish I could have captured this same footage with a high definition camera.
And this is kind of the same process a slightly different way, because me and Adam both went into our image programs and tried to change the lighting, because the hard part is, like you said, it's cell phone. So the camera you had, now newer ones are different, but the camera you had did not have a night lens.
No, it was my old phone. It didn't have the night feature. If I had the phone I have now, it has night vision on it. I would have gotten much better footage with this phone.
You're right. So, we had to add as much light as possible. And I just want to let everybody know, the only thing that we did to these images, other than drawing these weird non-circle circles on there, is lighting. The only sliders we played with were lighting. Now, once we got lighting, some of them we did try to image enhance using AI enhancement, but because there's so little detail, those actually made it worse. These are better than the enhanced images.
I really wish I'd been filming this with the phone I have now.
But like you said, you had no idea.
Yeah, I took a picture the other night in my backyard. My backyard's about 30 meters long by about 25 meters wide. So I have a good sized backyard. And ordinarily when I take the dog out when it's dark, you can't see the back fence because you just got the area of light with the porch and you don't see the back fence. I took a picture standing on my back porch of my backyard at 9:30 at night. And this was like a week ago, and you can clearly see the back fence. I mean, it's just, so if I'd been filming with this camera, we would have seen detail. We would have seen a lot of detail. I really wish I'd have had a better camera.
I mean, when they're not in spring training or whatever it is for NBA, it's not spring, but whenever they're not in preseason training and it's after the playoffs, they got to do something. Might as well throw them in a suit and have to run around.
I'm telling you, This is Missouri. Missouri is a constitutional carry state. Anybody who is not a felon in the state of Missouri can carry concealed without a permit. That's just Missouri state law. And I will tell you, I would not go traipsing around the woods in a monkey suit or a dogman suit, because someone's going to shoot you. That's going to happen in Missouri. There are too many deer hunters, too many guys that carry conceal. If that had been somebody in a suit and they'd have jumped out and growled at me, I would have smoked them straight up. Not even.
And you would have had every right to. There's no reason for someone to jump out in them, especially down where in Joe Bald with all the meth heads around there.
Yeah, well, it was abandoned when we were down there. There was nobody down there.
Right. But I'm saying that, there's some sketchy people near Joe Bald. Dresden said,
Mark Napier says, does the memory of that still make you a bit twitchy at night outside? Yes, it does. But me being the idiot I am, when Josh was here on vacation, we went back down there in the dark.
Fairly large group, though.
Yeah, we had a pretty large group, and most of us were armed. So yeah, it was a good time.
Dresden said, I believe now most of cryptids or aliens supernatural have been here as long as we have, and we thoroughly defeated them in the past. This is why they keep at bay to a degree. That's very possible. We do all kind of agree that they've been here as long as we have, or longer.
That's the theory behind the Nightmare Hunter. My first Nightmare Hunter book is called Nightmare Hunter Uncanny Valley. Uncanny Valley, you can Google this. This is not me just blowing smoke. The Uncanny Valley theory was a study done of people from all over the globe, from different walks of life, from different countries, and we all have that primal fear of things that look almost human in the dark. They call it the Uncanny Valley. We fear things that look almost like us in the dark, and it's a genetic memory that humans have all across the globe. To me, that says at some point in our evolutionary past, something that looked almost like us used to hunt us.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be Neanderthal, that could be Dogman, could be Bigfoot, whatever you want to label it. Something that looked all of the above. Something that looked almost human used to prey on us at one point, and that's why we all fear it. That's why the Uncanny Valley exists in the genetic memories of people all over the world.
And I think regardless of your religious beliefs, I think to a degree we can all believe in, it's proven that the species evolve. You can see it in short-term lived insects and reptiles. They adapt. Our species has done the same. We have adapted. We have, changed for our environment. That in itself is evolution. There is no reason to believe that as we evolved, that there were not offshoots of us, of other sapiens. Like there's no reason to not believe we diverged in multiple ways.
Yeah, we have no idea how many branches shot off of Homo sapiens along our journey. There could be a lot of near human things out there that we just don't know. Mermaids, near human. Right. Bigfoot, very near human. Dogman. My theory on Dogman tends to lean more toward the evolution of the dire wolf, that it began to evolve, whereas primitive humans back in the Stone Age domesticated the wolf, and over the coming centuries and eons, they evolved into modern dogs of different breeds. What if the dire wolf saw that humans were tool users, and the wolves were benefiting from that, and instead of dying out, that they slowly began to evolve to try to use tools themselves?
And see, Ellen, this kind of plays to that point. What if our branch of species just adapted to tool use faster and more efficiently?
Well, it's like you got two species on the planet. The first one to develop a weapon is the one that's going to win. Mm-hmm. Like tribes of caveman, the first one that picked up a club and started clunking people.
Dresden kind of making the same point here. Yeah, I mean, we just excelled slightly faster and more efficiently. And again, another reason why they might try to avoid us.
The invention that diverged us from them was probably fire. I would say at the point we learned to make fire is when the others got pushed back, because suddenly we weren't in the dark anymore.
Right. We were less afraid. And
I would say the divergence from these other species of near human creatures probably happened near the advent or right after the advent of invention of fire, when we first discovered how to make it. And that's when we started learning, to make all kinds of tools like spears. But I think fire was the big one.
Good night, Lenita.
Thank you, Lenita. Appreciate you being here. Hope you have a great night.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very, very solid theory, I think, because like you said, from fire, we learn how to create new metals, how to smelt, how to create better, more deadly tools. You go from a wooden club to a spear, a knife, a sword, a gun. It's just progressive.
Yeah, if you want to match claws against swords, it's not really much of a contest, especially you start throwing in battle axes and stuff like that. And that's why I believe the epic poem Beowulf was actually written about Vikings fighting a Bigfoot type creature. Because if you read the description of Grendel, it sounds like a Bigfoot. It really does.
And John Doe is just kind of fortifying your point here.
Exactly. That is the whole premise behind the series, The Nightmare Hunter. The things that are almost human used to hunt us in the dark. And again, the advent of fire.
And see, what's interesting about, us knowing about the literal dozens there, it seems like they find a new step in human evolution every couple of months. They're like, well, now we didn't find the missing link, but we found another one to slide right up in there.
It's like the joke on Futurama.
Yeah,
we found the missing link. Oh, no. Well, what's the link between that? We found that. Okay, well, what's the link between that? Yeah.
But you made a point, too, that I want in another show that I want to tie into this point. We learn these from the fossil record, right?
Mm-hmm.
It takes an extreme circumstance to make a fossil, just to begin
fossils
with.
Are only only made out of one out of every several million animals.
So you start connecting those scientific dots. There could be hundreds of branches that lived and died out that we don't even know about.
Well, look at great apes. There's almost no evidence of great apes in the fossil records. About all we ever find are teeth. In fact, Gigantopithecus, which we believe to be the largest ape that ever lived, the only fossil records we have of it are teeth and a partial jawbone. Yet they were able to extrapolate that it was a gigantic ape that walked, that lived with modern humans and died out maybe 50,000 years ago. Some say a little less, but
was it a giant ape?
Yeah, it was a giant ape. Was it Bigfoot? It could have been, but all the fossil record that exists of that are a few teeth and a piece of a jawbone. That's it.
I mean, because based on our evolution, you could literally just say that Bigfoot, that Gigantopithecus, was the prehistoric man version of Bigfoot. What if that was their evolutionary line?
Josh Dalton says Nephilim, giants, or Cyclops. It could be. I mean, you start looking at the Nephilim theory, and I'm not going to jump in because I don't really want to. I don't want to jump down the religious argument trail because two things we don't want to do on this show is politics and religion, because all it ever does is divide people. But if you just called the Nephilim very powerful, very, very powerful beings,
otherworldly
powerful beings, yeah, it makes perfect sense.
But you can go outside the Bible and find very similar historical records of giants, of Nephilim-like creatures, the Anunnaki. Like there is overlap with the Bible, with other historical references of things that, just like with the Native Americans talking about Bigfoot and Dogman, all over the globe, ancient man. This is the same with these giants and powerful beings. You have overlap. So you don't have this overlap. Matt likes to argue that you have overlap because man all over the world has the same imagination. And I can't believe that's the case, because I know people with zero imagination.
Well, it's the exact same why some people are writers and some people are readers. I like to say, if I'm just a hillbilly from the Ozarks of Missouri, from the hill, from a farm north of Lebanon, Missouri. And if I can write, anybody can. Writing is a skill. It's something you have to polish. It's a craft you have to work on. And I've been working on mine for years. I've been trying to be a writer since I was a kid. And I was in my 40s before I wrote anything I felt that was worth publishing.
Yeah, Dresden, that's true. But you still have to have the right circumstances. It may not take long to fossilize, but you still have to have like certain check boxes filled for it to actually take place. Time isn't necessarily one of them.
And Mark and I have discussed that. And I appreciate that, Mark. Thank you, because I don't want to turn it into any kind of religious debate. Nope. Simply because we all have different opinions on religion, and we don't talk about politics because that divides people. Religion divides people. Whatever your beliefs are,
they're yours.
They're your beliefs, and I'm not going to argue them. But major religions, pretty much all major religions talk about these spiritual beings, these more powerful beings. If you look back at Zoroastrianism, they talked about powerful creatures from the heavens. The ancient Sanskrit and the Babylon before that. What's the word? Not Babylonians. I'm looking for something before that. Sumerians. The ancient Sumerians talked about powerful creatures from the sky. Egyptians talked about powerful beings from the sky. And these are religions that predate Christianity. In fact, they say the roots of the Norse religion actually date back to the Stone Age. So we can't say one religion's right over the other. In fact, I kind of think there's truth in all of them. Be that however basically every religion was that civilization's attempt to explain the cosmos and things above them. So I think that there are linking elements in all of them. We could all be, they could all be trying to explain the same phenomenon. I don't know. I'm not a religious theologian, and I'm going to get off that soapbox right now because I don't want to delve into that anymore. But it's very possible that ancient beings from beyond humanity might be the origin of all our creation myth stories.
Stuff, yeah. Agreed. And just like DA, I'm of the same cut that what you believe in is what you believe in. That's not necessarily religion. That's even this stuff here, which is why we respect people. Like he and I don't believe necessarily like in mind speak, stuff like that.
Right.
Some people believe they're supernatural, while others think they're physical. We respect this is an open forum. Yeah. While we may not talk about certain things, we still respect other people's beliefs.
Right. And that's at the core of it. That's what this is. It's a community where everybody can talk about whatever experiences they've got and not be ridiculed. I mean, I don't like Josh was saying, my own personal theories. I tend to, and when it comes to cryptids, I lean toward physical evidence because I was a cop for almost 20 years. That's just my brain telling me that there's got to be, if there's physical evidence, it's a physical creature. Right. So that's just me. That's my theory. And I have said this many times. I'll say it again. I am not an expert. I don't claim to be. Anybody that says they're an expert on a cryptid field is trying to sell you something, because there are no experts. Until these have actually been publicly confirmed, and we've had scientific studies done, and we know all about the creatures, we can't say for sure what they are, where they're from, how they behave. All we have is speculation and theory. So everybody's theory is just as valid as mine.
I've actually speculated on this before. Again, devoid of any religion or otherworldly alien theories. I do find it interesting that we are one of the most predominant creatures on this planet, and we are terrible. Like, we are squishy. We are dumb. We are like the dumbest animal out there is more capable of living on its own than throwing me out in the woods.
And I think a lot of that is the simple fact that we started creating technology to do things for us.
Yeah, we bred it out of ourselves.
Yeah, we bred it out of ourselves. If you would look at modern man versus, say, caveman was adapted to survive in a world we couldn't survive in. they did it all without tools. They did it all without, help of society or safe places to stay at night. As we evolved as a species and started making more tools, and those tools led to new tools, and those tools led to new technology, and those technologies eventually led to civilizations, and those led to the Industrial Revolution, we bred that out of ourselves. We no longer have those adaptations that allow us to survive in those kind of environments. And that's because as we evolved, our brains continued to grow, we learned more, we were able to reason more, be able to figure things out, tool usage, technology. We didn't need all those old throwbacks to a bygone age, so those slowly disappeared.
And obviously we're still capable of it, because there are people that train themselves to be able to live off the land and to survive in extreme situations. Just most of us can't drive 50 miles down the highway without using a turn signal or any other sort of, stoplights and red lights are just suggestions.
Yeah, I always say, hey, I guess that model didn't come with turn signals.
I'm on the road a lot, and normally it's at night, but it's interesting. This morning I was out during the day, and I counted probably at least 17 violations in 30 minutes.
Oh God, me being an ex-cop, my wife's always telling me in traffic to shut up. I'm like, pointing shit out as we drive.
It's bad enough you merge without a turn signal. Don't do it in front of a truck.
Right. Yeah, you're gonna get flattened.
I always think of I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen it. It's that Mortal Engines of like the cities that move. There was a line from the trailer that I always think of as like, "Do you want to die?" Oh man,
John Doe's got a point. Humanity does have an ability to survive in extreme situations, and that falls back to the will to survive. Some people don't have it. Some people will curl up and die, while others will rise to the occasion and survive through situations where humans wouldn't normally survive. And that's just that will to survive, that primal instinct that drives us, even when our body's saying you can't do this. Our brain's going, shut up. Yes, we are. I'm not dying here.
I think our if you want to call it superpower as humanity is adaptability.
Mm-hmm.
And determination, kind of bundled together, because like you said, yes, some people give up, but I think as a species, we are not willing to just fade into the night.
Right.
I mean, that's fairly accurate.
Pretty much. Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. And then Meg says there are people that have huge abilities to live in areas in Canada, in the outdoors, and even in the USA. Survival is as much a drive as a skill. You can learn survival techniques. You can learn what plants are edible. You can learn how to build your own shelters and fires. It's not something that's beyond our ability to do. It's just primitive skills that most people have lost. We've really, really shot away from the original Bermuda Triangle topic.
But I mean, that's kind of natural for the show. I think you can only hammer that any topic for so long.
We did 2 solid hours on the Bermuda Triangle before we started going off on tangents.
I think a lot of the I started looking at some of the past shows because I'm trying to build some clips together. I think a lot of the regulars enjoy this like last hour or hour and a half, whatever we end up doing after the topic, just as much as the topic, because it is kind of a free-for-all talk about anything cool that we enjoy. Right. It's kind of like a wind down of the show. And I know I enjoy it, whether I'm on or listening. So
it's kind of cathartic because we just kind of talk about all kinds of random crap. Right. Speaking of random crap, people will recognize my hat that I wear all the time. That's my Kolchak the Night Stalker hat. I know I'm going to show off my bald head, but if you see, it says the Night Stalker, INS. Yep. It's a knockoff of Kolchak's hat that he wore in the series. The reason I bring this up is this year is the 50th anniversary of Kolchak the Night Stalker.
Oh, wow.
The series that made me want to write horror. And I still love that. I love that series.
Let's see. Certain things to do so equally. Yeah, John Doe, you're not wrong. We persist in the face of adversity. And sometimes that adversity is 99% of the time created by our own mistakes.
Yeah, it might be something we caused ourselves, but we'll figure out a way.
Hey, you got a new sub.
Woo! Awesome.
You ticked up.
Well, I don't think we're going to make 2,000 tonight.
Probably not. Mark says, I enjoy the last hour. You know what? What I should probably do is, let's see. You got, I'll put it, man, I feel like a month is too long. I feel like you can do it in a month. I was going to say at the end of February, but so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shows. How about this? If you can do it before February 14th, Valentine's Day, I'll still honor the All Tower Media agreement. If we can get to 2,000, so you have to mention it on the other shows. If I'm not on, you have to try to remember. If we can get to 2,000 before the 14th, so that only gives you like 4 shows.
Speaking of Valentine's Day, my wife and I met 2 days after Valentine's Day, in 1992. So February the 16th of this year will be 30 years to the day since I met her. And she's put up with a lot of crap from me over the years, including getting a couple of those phone calls from the sheriff's department saying, Doug's in the ER. You might want to get up here. She's been through a couple of those, and I've had a couple of nasty concussions in the line. And in fact, one I thought I wasn't coming back from. They MRI'd me for brain damage, thinking I was done. And that was pretty early in my writing career. I'd only had the first Ragnarok book out, and I thought I would never write another word because I would sit at the computer keyboard and I'd be like, just nothing came to me. I was in a neck brace for about 3 months. It was bad, pretty nasty. But we came through that. And she's good or bad, rich and poor. Well, never. No, okay, less poor, not rich. We've never been rich, but somewhat less poor. She's been by my side for 30 years on the 16th. So, babe, if you're watching, I love you, and thank you for 30 years of putting up with my crap. Thanks, bud. We'll be married 28 years this year. No, I'm sorry. I hope she's not listening. 29 years. I'm in trouble. 2023 will be our 30th anniversary.
Blame it on a time dilation portal. You just lost a year.
I just lost a year. Maybe I don't hope she's watching.
I will be getting married this year, so I'll be kicking off my own.
That's awesome, brother.
Journey.
Bill Sloan says, glad you transitioned to the hat when you said random crap out there. You're going to talk about the sugar-free gummies again. No, we have to have Steve here for the sugar-free gummies because that was his discovery.
That's a him thing.
Yeah, that was Steve's discovery, and maybe we'll buy a big bag of them and dare him to eat them on the air.
Oof. We may not have him for very long if we do that.
He'd be like gummy number 12. He's like,
gotta go.
I'll be back.
Thank you, Ellen. I am very excited.
You should be, brother.
My mom was talking to me the other day, and she's like, you struggled for so long in your previous relationship, of which I never got married for over 10 years. So that should say something. And she's like, you just night and day happy. And I'm very, very excited.
Well, congratulations, man.
You too, man. That's I'm sorry. Congratulations to your wife because
for putting up with me all that time. That's a chore right there.
I can tell you. That's an unpaid hero's job right there. And I know my wife will be going through the same thing.
I told her when she passes away, finally, the Catholic Church is going to have her canonized. And we're not even Catholic.
30 years of that life is probably matured yet on UDA.
Careful. Yeah.
Don't give her no ideas.
There might be an accident.
Well, she's got to let you at least finish some of these series first, so that way they age well after.
Yeah, well, I don't plan on ending most of those series anytime soon. So,
well, at some point they got to catch up with Ragnarok.
Yeah, but
there's a lot you could do. I mean, a lot of these take place in like a day or two, so there's a lot that you could tell in a short amount of time. Yeah, I feel like there's something else behind that.
Let's just say that Lakeview 3 is going to bring in some more characters from the Ragnarok universe.
I remember you saying something about that. I'm excited.
And things change. So don't want to give that away, but there's a surprise appearance of a couple of familiar faces from the Ragnarok series.
Very nice.
Not going to say who they are.
Well,
yeah, it is about that time.
I was going to say, we have that kind of, well, shit.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little sleepy. I want to grab a bite to eat and maybe watch a movie with the wife before I go to bed. I'm going to work on layouts and finishing up the edits on Lakeview Man 3 tomorrow. I've gotten back from most of my beta readers. I'm getting good feedback on it. So the betas are pretty happy with the story. Well, actually, I don't have betas. I have alpha readers. They got it like right away before it was even went through edits. So the feedback has been good. And between Grammarly and myself reading it over and over again, I think we've smoothed it out pretty good. But I'm waiting to hear back from a couple of people.
Back to Grammarly, or are you still with Pro Writing Aid?
Oh, yeah, I meant Pro Writing Aid. Sorry.
Oh, I just like, did he give up?
Well, I can tell you one thing though, Pro Writing Aid, because I've got the entire book in one document. Pro Writing Aid freaks out and just about locks up my computer at times.
So what I've noticed,
like big documents.
Well, what I've noticed is one, it kind of does okay as you're writing. If you bring it into an already fleshed out manuscript, it's not super happy about it. But I do notice that when you're at an area, you got to give it like 10 minutes to scan the pages that you're on before it decides if it's good or not. So,
yeah, it does not like big documents. So what I'll probably do with this book is I'm going to have the main document where everything gets compiled, and I'm going to have a separate document where I write a chapter at a time, run Grammarly over it, then import it over to the main document. Kyle Real says, "Good night, Sergeant Roberts." Brother, I appreciate you calling me Sergeant, but I'm not a cop anymore. I do miss certain aspects of that, and I appreciate you calling me Sergeant, even though I'm not really a sergeant anymore. I do appreciate that. I was pretty proud of that. I took good care of my guys, and they took good care of me, and I'm proud of my service. I'm proud of the men and women I served with, and I am proud that I can look back at that and say, I tried to leave the world a little better than when I found it. And I've got quite a few awards, including a lifesaver award. So I made a difference for at least one person. And I've ran into people that I've put in handcuffs, years after the fact, and them come up and shake my hand and tell me they turned their life around. So, I look at those as wins. And although I did have to draw my firearm a number of times in the line of duty, I never had to shoot somebody, and I'm very happy that I never had to do that. I've been fortunate that, as my mother would say, I was born with the gift of gab. So I've been very, very lucky about being able to talk people down. And I counted a good career that I never fired my weapon in the line of duty, other than at the range. So I'm pretty happy about that. So, I'm proud of what I did, and I'm proud of where I'm at now. And this was not a journey I made alone. This transition to full-time writer, this was the work of a lot of amazing people. Josh, Adam has helped immensely along the way. I've had tremendous support from my family, my alpha readers, Robert Miller, Josh Jones, Steve Monrodis has been one of my alphas, Wayne Grant. If you know the name Wiley Grant and hear me say the name Wayne Grant was my sergeant years ago, and he taught me a hell of a lot. So the name Wiley Grant came from him. I named it. I changed the first name, but Grant is definitely an homage to Wayne. So hopefully Wayne catches this. And he was a great guy, a great leader, and he helped me inspire. He helped inspire Wiley. But there's been a lot of people helped with this journey, and I would not be where I am if it hadn't been for all the people that have gave of themselves to help me reach my dream. And we're not at the top of that ladder, but we're a lot farther up than when I started. And you just take a little step forward every day. That's all we can do. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful to everybody that's been with us on this journey, and all of you that are in the audience tonight. You guys are a part of this journey. Everybody that's read a book or bought a book or bought an audio or listened to one of the shows and commented, you guys are a huge part of this journey. I love, hearing from people who've read the books, and they reach out to me on Facebook and tell me how much they enjoyed the books. I love that. To me, that's just so awesome. That in my heart of hearts, I'm still that farm kid from north of Lebanon, Missouri, out off YY Highway, and I'll probably always be that kid in my mind anyway. And I am just astounded and amazed how far this journey has taken us. 25 books, people. That is such a huge milestone, and I'm so proud of that.
Awesome, man.
And let's look for 25 more. See where we're going after that. Thank each and every one of you guys for being part of this journey. You guys are amazing. Josh, brother, thank you.
Hey, no worries, man. I'm happy just to support what you do, because I get enjoyment out of the books. I get, being your friend has been, aside from all the stuff we do, you just, like someone said in chat, you're just a great guy.
I appreciate it, brother.
I try. I know you get humble about a lot of stuff, and you don't always like the praise, but you clearly, the growth of the channel, the success of the books, is evident to not only your talent but you as a person. So sometimes just take a minute to own that and be okay with it.
I appreciate it, brother. It has been a huge amount of work, but it's also been one of the most gratifying things I've ever done in my life. To see stories I wrote and created in my head reach so many people and to go so far. And I'm humbled. I'm honored. I'm so grateful. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys for being part of this journey. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I will always say it. Stories are journeys that we take together. And I am humbled and blessed and amazed and so grateful that you guys chose to take this journey with us. And before we go, I'm going to pop that cover up one more time, because I am so proud of it, because Adam did such a wonderful job.
Yeah, he did. I love the inverse Darkwater Endeavors logo. That pops so hard. That is really cool.
Again, that looks like a tunnel of trees leading off with the mist. That is an actual photo of Blunk Road that Adam went out and took. And then of course he manipulated the image, but that is Blunk Road. That's what it looks like. I'm planning on going back down there, hopefully this coming week, to shoot a lengthy video talking about the book, talking about the release of the book, and talking about the Blunk Road area. And I'm super excited to get this book out. This is, again, it's the benchmark. It's 25 books. And I couldn't be more pleased.
I really want to put it out there again to everyone. I just put the link out in chat to join Discord. I know I hit it every time that I'm on, but some people had mentioned that it was a little sluggish before. It has definitely been picking up a lot. I mean, there are new comments in there every couple of hours, it seems like. So definitely come hang out, because like I said, DA and I are bouncing in and out of there all the time. I'm dropping stuff about the video game. DA's answering questions about the books. It's a great place to just hang out and talk with other, fans like yourselves.
And John Doe, I definitely want to talk to more about some of the stuff you've got that you want to share with us in the Discord.
I can't wait to check it out. Great stuff.
He has. Some fantastic stuff. If you guys aren't part of the Discord, you're missing out, because there's a lot of
the Discord. So many nuggets that we drop. Plus, like John Doe, a fan of the show, drops all kinds of cool stuff in there. Mm-hmm. So
some of it might find its way into a book. I mean, some of it's pretty cool stuff. Again, thank you guys so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. And Wednesday night we will have Connor Flynn, aka Bigfoot Anon, who's a Bigfoot researcher and has a lot of experiences of his own that he's going to share with us. He'll be with us on Wednesday night, and next Saturday night we will take on the Philadelphia experiment. And hopefully we have John Doe in the chat to kind of throw some more information our way on that. But it's a great story. It's a fascinating story. Don't know how much of it is true, but the simple fact that the government denies it happened kind of lends credence to me. Yeah. Anytime they go out of their way to vehemently deny something, they're hiding something. At least that's been my experience. Again, folks, remember, in this world of cryptids and UFOs and all of the other things that we talk about, there are no experts. Your opinion, your theories are just as valid as anyone else's, and I don't care if they're on an Animal Planet show or on a History Channel show. Their opinion is no better or no worse than yours. All of our theories and ideas on these subjects are just as valid as anybody else's until that we have actual scientific data. They're called cryptids for a reason. They're unknown, so we don't know. And again, your theories are welcome here. Your stories are welcome here. And if you want to tell us your story, you can reach out to us through email at daroberts@daroberts.net or naomafinn@gmail.com. We would love to hear your encounters. If you want us to read them on the air, let us know. If you would like to remain anonymous, you can also do that. We don't necessarily have to reveal your name on the air. There's no reason to unless you want to. So if you've got an encounter story and you want to share it with us, you can drop that in. And on the Discord server, we have a room set up where you can mention, like someone did on the Philadelphia experiment or Dr. Greer. If you've got show ideas, you can drop them in there, and they'll probably find their way into a show at some point. So there's a lot of potential in the Discord where you can really help not only shape the future of shows, but getting involved in the Discord server and the Patreon, you can also help shape the future of the books. I am more than happy to listen to input, share ideas, bounce ideas back and forth. If you've got ideas for the direction of the DA verse, this is our universe together. So let's see where this takes us. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the Discord. Check out the Patreon. We're doing things. We're growing. Even though it's baby steps, we are growing. But we started this show, DA Ex Machina, less than a year ago, and we are about to hit 2,000 subs. To me, that's astounding. 25 books out, also astounding. I just can't wait to see where this journey takes us. I know I'm kind of rambling now.
But if you guys haven't joined the channel yet here on YouTube, it's different than a subscription. A sub is basically just get the notifications and, it bumps the numbers. Joining actually is a small monetary donation to help support the channel. I mean, it's like $1.99 and like $4.99 for the two different levels. You get those emojis we talked about. But the Wild Hunt level is going to start seeing a lot of member-only videos. So you definitely want to jump on that. And you're not only supporting the channel, but you're going to get really cool exclusive content.
Actually, kind of faded out on sound there for a second.
Join for exclusive content.
Yeah, you got like real quiet all of a sudden.
Join, hit that join button. It's real cheap monthly, and you're going to get really cool stuff at the $4.99 level.
That's the Hypnotoad join. Sorry. Futurama reference. Again, thank you guys. I hope you see you guys on Wednesday night when we've got Connor Flynn, also known as Bigfoot Anon, on there talking about his Bigfoot experiences. And next Saturday when we delve into the Philadelphia experiment, which is going to be a hoot and a half. I'm really looking forward to that show. It's going to be fun. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate each and every one of you. And we will see you folks on this coming.
Chat.
What's that? We got a super chat?
Right here at the end, Dresden dropped a $20 super chat. He says, what if Fenrir was a source of dogmen and not necessarily evil? Possibly.
There is a bit of the lore among the werewolf mythology that links werewolves to Fenris. So the Fenris wolf might be the progenitor of werewolves that are for dogman. So it's a pretty interesting road to go down. So who knows? That might actually show up.
If you separate the myth out of it, what if Fenris was just a direwolf?
Ooh. Ooh.
Hey,
I
that could
like
be a
that.
whole nother show that we could talk about.
Well, something to look forward to is the next Codename Wild Hunt book is going to be called Codename Wild Hunt: Death in Dyatlov Pass. It's going to be set in the Dyatlov Pass of Russia,
Right.
And well, if any of you people know any of y'all know the history of Russia, the word Russia comes from the Norse tribe, the Rus.
Mm-hmm.
So Russia was named after a Norse tribe. So there's a lot of Norse folklore, especially in Siberia. You're going to see
fingers in a lot of pies.
Yeah, you're going to see
almost literally.
You're going to see the first emergence of more of the Norse coming back. The first steps to Ragnarok will appear in that book.
Yes.
So look forward to that. And look forward to the next few days. We'll have the release information for Lakeview Man Beast of Blunk Road.
Thanks for the super chat, Meg.
Dresden, Meg, thank you for the super chat. You guys are awesome. And appreciate you guys so much. And again, we will see you guys on Wednesday night. And you guys have a wonderful evening and be safe and stay warm because we've got cold front coming in. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for joining us tonight on DAX Machina. If you ever have an encounter of your own that you wish to discuss, contact us at daroberts@daroberts.net. You can remain completely anonymous if you wish. Pull your covers up tight and keep a nightlight burning bright. Oh, and did you forget to lock your doors?